Hello, viewer. Today it's a Saturday. It is October. It is the 29th, 2022. I am Mr. Brown, and I trust you are all very well today. We made it, folks. We got the 1,000 subs. Yay! If I may, gushy moment here, folks. This channel genuinely is nothing without the guests, and especially nothing without you scumbags in the chat. You know who you are. So a genuine thank you to everybody who's pitched in this journey over the past. I think we are at 22 months and counting. So I think it's about I think it's December 21st. The shortest day in the Northern Hemisphere is our officially our second birthday of streaming. So as I said, folks, genuinely we are nothing without the chat. So awesome, folks. Okay, so moving on. We are back with the movie reviews until at least next spring. So it's 6 months. We'll try and definitely get these piled out every Saturday from now on. So we may be out of practice a little bit presenting them, but we'll do our very, very best to entertain you all for the next few hours. As I always say then, lots to get through, lots of slides, and there are. Shall we get the guests out? Of course we should. Okay, so let's do it. Okay, so first, he is into movies and we love him on the team. It's the one and only movie cynic. Hello there.
Hello there.
How are you, my friend? How are you doing?
Very good. How are you?
We're not too bad. It's taken me all day to put this show together.
Yeah, I imagine collecting slides
all
for a movie
day.
like this. Yeah,
all day. I didn't even have time to do my bicycle training, so effectively 2 hours behind schedule. But doing these streams can be a pain sometimes, but the rewards are great. How's your Rings of Power going?
Going really well. I am. It is going to be a 50+ minute video, and generally I do 10 to 12 minute videos. So this one and the last one, which was She-Hulk, is they're massive compared to what my normal ones are, and I don't know how people do it because it is just exhausting. Really excited to have it out, and I think the finished product will be good, but man, that takes a lot out of you.
How many hours per day do you work?
Per day. So it's taken me 2 weeks, and I would say, 6-7 hours a day.
Oof.
Yeah.
Savage.
So, like you missed your biking. Like I miss my training and stuff. Like that's why I have a personal trainer, so that at least a few days a week I am obligated to be somewhere, but I can't do it on my own. I'm just like sitting at home working on these damn videos.
It will all be worth it in the end, my friend.
I hope so.
You know what my next question is?
Shall we bring out the next guest? ?
I think we should.
Right.
Next, watch out, War and Peace. He's writing a Star Wars novel, but not at the moment. It is the wonderful Swapshop.
Yes, War and Peace. I'm on your tail, guys.
How you doing, pal?
I'm all right, actually, compared to the last few days when I've been suffering like an invalid with only 3 working limbs. But I'm a lot better today. Thanks for asking, Brown. You're very kind.
How's the bicycle?
That's another story. You should see the other guy. Yeah, the bike is a little bit scratched, and there's still some mud trapped in the pedal, which I've got to try and get out. But hey, this is what happens when you crash a bike, right? As long as it's not a motorbike, I think. Yeah.
How's
been a lot
life?
worse.
How's life treating you?
It's stress. Well, it has been stress for the last week or so, trying to get a 5,000 word assignment done, but that is now been handed in. So we'll see how that goes when I get it back. But right now, I'm just sort of celebrating and relaxing the fact that I don't have to do it again.
Oh, good man. Good man.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yes. And last, but by no means least, he is the wise elder of the channel. You know the rest. Live from a location somewhere south near the sea, it is the great mega geek himself, Ian David Diaz.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Am I low again, or am I okay?
You're okay at the moment.
Oh, good.
You've
Maybe
not got
know
your
when the
proper
mic
microphone, have
and
you?
thing. Yeah, no, I haven't got a microphone. It's coming off the old laptop. So, I knew where the mic was on this laptop. Was it just the screen? I don't know. Good to be here.
Is it not towards the top of the
Talk
screen?
towards the camera, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. I'll get my face as closer to it as possible.
Get your face in the screen. So, are you well, Ian?
I'm okay.
You've been
I'm all
working, yes?
Been working my ass off. Yes, there's a. Oh, maybe it's down here. Yeah, been working my ass off. So yeah, bit tired, but hey, I promised I'd come on, and I'm on. I thought it was going to be Blade Runner, but suddenly it's Halloween.
It was going to be Blade Runner, but there was a late splurge of Halloween on the voting.
Oh, I see. And because it's Halloween.
It is.
Or is it? Is it
2
Monday?
days? Yeah, Monday. Yes.
Monday. Okay.
Okay. So, shall we get on with it then? Yes.
Yo.
Oh,
Shall we say hello to the chat? Hello, chats. We can see you. Hello, chats. We can see you. Oi, oi. So, okay then. So, shall I read some blurb?
Going in.
Right. Okay. So, Halloween, 1978. Certificate. This is old school. Certificate X.
Excellent.
A runtime, a very prim and proper 91 minutes.
Hell yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Release date, USA was October 27th, 1978. UK, January 25th, 1979. So we didn't even get it on Halloween. That was more kind of Burns night if you're in Scotland. Director, the great John Carpenter. Screenplay by John Carpenter and Deborah Hill. Produced by Mustafa Akkad, John Carpenter, Deborah Hill, Cool Marder, Erwin Yablans. Music, the mighty, again, John Carpenter. Starring Donald Pleasance as Loomis, Dr. Loomis. Was it introducing Jamie Lee Curtis? I think it was.
Yeah.
There's Laurie.
Yeah.
There are other people starring. The budget, get this right, was $325,000, which was not a lot of money, was it? Really?
It was not.
No, not at all.
I think it was a 17-day shoot as well, if I read correctly. Gross worldwide, it made just over $47 million. So that's not bad, is it?
Was that worldwide? Because I was pretty sure that's what they made in the US.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
okay.
the US. Yeah. Just the US.
I may be incorrect on that then, folks. But it it made a great return, yes?
Mm.
Okay, so
Until Halloween ends.
That's another story, though, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I think we'll just start piling through the slides. Okay, so here we go. Here's the poster. So I'll ask the panel thoughts on the film. Movie Cynic, your initial thoughts on this film?
An absolute classic, regardless of genre. In my top 10 of all time, regardless of genre, just top 10 favorite movies ever. I don't have those in any particular order, really. But I just I loved horror growing up. That's actually really what got me into movies. And this one was always not allowed. I was not allowed to watch Halloween because it was supposedly so terrifying. And I finally get to watch it when I was like 9 or 10. And I watched it by myself, and it genuinely scared the shit out of me. And
Wow.
I've just been throughout the rest of my childhood, I always thought Michael Myers was around the corner of my house, so I understood the warnings. And I still think it holds up as a tremendous movie to this day. I really do. It set the boundaries for it created a genre. It's embedded in popular culture. Michael Myers
is
arguably, the most famous horror icon of all time, if not just one of the greatest cinematic icons. I have nothing but praise for this movie. I just think it's genius, simple and genius.
Swappers.
Oh, my earliest memory of this, I think I was about 8 or 9 or something like that, and I saw it was back in the 80s when video nasties were a thing, and this wasn't even out on home video or TV or anything. And I remember seeing a clip on some review show, and it was I can't remember what the clip was. I don't even know if it was Halloween, to be honest with you, but it was one of these like slasher type movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was a clip. I don't even know if it's in the film. I remember it really scaring me. It was a clip of someone or a dead body or something like that on a stretcher with police and stuff around, and the camera zooms in on this body, and the head's like not human, and suddenly like the soundtrack sort of suddenly goes, that kind of thing, and then I shout myself. That was my earliest memory of slasher films in general.
Yeah.
Whether it was Halloween or not, I'm too young to tell, but it made me want to see this when I got older. And I thought, I can't wait to find out what that moment was that made me poo myself when I was 8. So, and I did watch it, and I really enjoyed it. And I must have been about like 12 or something when I watched it. But yeah, genuinely did enjoy it. Now, you might think 12 was a very young age to watch such
Perfect
a
age, mate.
rated horror movie. But I was only 9.5 when I saw Alien. So 12's pretty ancient compared to that, I think. But I really did enjoy Halloween. And god damn, man, I'll tell you what, back then, the scares and the jumps and the little camera tricks and stuff that they did in the movie, when you think something's going to come from one side and it comes from the other side, all that kind of stuff, that was all completely new to me back then. It was new to most people, I think. And I was loving it. I was really loving it. Like the adrenaline and everything. And at that early age, it was great. And of course, Jamie Lee Curtis was always hot as well. And I loved her in The Fog. After this, yeah, and anything that she was in after that, I was kind of already ready and raring to go for. But
Trading Places.
That was around the time of puberty. Yeah, Trading Places, indeed. Yes, but let's get on with this film anyway.
Ian, thoughts?
What did I saw it in the cinema when it was first released, and I thought it was really good. The thing that fascinated me the most as a filmmaker, well, as trying to be a filmmaker, was how they did that scene in the beginning without cutting. And I thought they did it with camera tricks, like passing a pillar and then cutting again and then laying down the tracks and stuff like that. But then I found out they had this thing called a Steadicam, and I was like, what the fuck is a Steadicam? Right. Obviously, we know what it is now. But it's basically, as filmmakers, it's one of the very first movies to actually have a Steadicam.
Yep.
In the beginning of the film. But apart from that, as a person that was trying to discover film and trying to figure out how it all worked, it was I thought it was a great movie personally. And again, as Swapper says, everything was new. The jumps and there was all. I mean, Carpenter created some of that stuff. The jumps and the scares and the music going high, just to make you feel unnerving.
Fantastic music
and stuff like that. Yeah, and also everybody seems to forget that Donald Pleasence was in this movie. Donald Pleasence was a great presence in this film. No pun intended, of course.
Blofeld.
Yeah, but he was great. He kind of added a bit of weight to it because they had unknown stars in it, and also the fact that he didn't want to do it. He thought it was stupid, and I think he was moaning all the way through it. I read, and
okay,
yeah, he wasn't overall. He wasn't really You know what I mean? It's
Was
like
it not?
Harrison Ford.
Was it not thesp enough for him?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it was like Harrison Ford when he did Star Wars. He treated it
Yeah.
like, it was going to be a big flop, and the same thing with Donald Pleasance as well. Treated like it was going to be a big flop, but obviously it was a huge success, and his thoughts on it changed a lot. So yeah, but overall, it's a great movie. And it actually kicked off the jump scare horror films, and Carpenter directed with a steady hand, and making low budget films. I know that it's a real struggle to make anything with hardly any
Yeah.
money, and I think he did a really good job. And it was this film that set him on the path to, recognizing a film by John Carpenter, if you know what I mean. So there you go.
My thoughts are, I'm not really into slasher horror type things. Well, not now anyway, but back in the old VHS days with the video nasties, that was probably the only thing you could watch really. But I was a quite young teenager watching all the horror stuff because that's what you do. I think I saw this first on. It would have been released on VHS,
Yeah.
and I just think this film is fantastic. As movie said, it's got one of the best characters in cinema history, proper icon of cinema. Even though he is a bad motherfucker, but yeah, it's such a great movie. The direction's fantastic. I think we taped to tape. So I've seen this many times, but I've not seen it in a long time. And watching it today, it's still fantastic. The 91 minutes really goes in favor of it, doesn't it? So it's. Would you say movie? It's such a simple plot, but it really is spot on.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the runtime complements it. It feels like a really tight story. It doesn't really drag because of the music, in my opinion, because like that
Music's
fills in and creates a sense of tension during those moments where it feels like, objectively it's like, oh, nothing's really happening, but it is, because you're kind of watching, whenever you're watching Laurie walk around or anything, it's a lot of the times like you're watching it from Michael's perspective and he's stalking his prey. And I just think it's masterfully done in every category. The one thing I can't remember is who did the cinematography for it.
Dean Cundy.
Cundy, right. Yeah, he did an incredible job.
Yeah, he started. That's where he started. But also the fact that this was the first John Carpenter film that didn't look amateurish. If you watch Assault on Precinct 13. And there are bits of that film that was very amateur, especially the acting and stuff like that. And the music was too over the top on that. Even though it's a great film, it's a good film because it was corny and because it was a bit amateurish. But this one, all the way through, it was very professional, from the acting straight across to the direction, to the photography, and to the marvelous jump scares.
Very tight. Even on the remastered copy I watched today, even better.
Yeah, the more it gets remastered, I mean, the better the film looks. It's
stereo sound as well. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I think I've watched it in every capacity. I watched it on, broadcast TV, and then on VHS, DVDs, Blu-rays, and now in like 4K digital streaming, and it just looks beautiful.
It does.
I remember I was watching a documentary on it, and I think it was on Netflix. It was called. It was about cliches. It was in films. And I was really surprised how they were like saying, "Oh yeah, how women were very sexist, and and they treated women badly." I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Do you know what I mean? It's a classic horror film. It was made. It's a movie of its time. I don't understand people these days. I really don't. We really are living in clown world. We really are.
Yeah, he kills men and women. I don't really see what the I
know. Stupid, isn't it?
He doesn't
It
care
really
who he
is.
kills. I'll read a couple of chats. In the chat, uninspired reviewer, jump scares and atmosphere were masterful. Lighting is probably the true hero of the film, yes. Especially towards the end. In the living room, the lighting is fantastic. Let's have a look. Let's see some more chats. I've been pausing them. Tim Annabom, Donald Lee Pleasance.
He's good. I liked
He
him.
is. He is. He is. Here we go. Franco. Carpenter makes bloody great films. He does. Classic hero, wasn't it? The Fog, The Thing. He was just hitting his stride, wasn't he, with this? So, okay. Should we start going through some of the slides? Because there is a lot. So,
Sure.
what do you think is the best thing to do, movie? Just kind of describe the scene before? Because there's not all that many scenes, really, on this film. It's just very kind of elongated stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say so. We can set the tone like that, and I probably have some little tidbit in the back of my head too about whatever's going on in the scene. So.
Okay, so we'll just say, Mr. Brown Alliance, please like, share, and subscribe. Yes, we got the 1,000. So moving on. Of people of a certain age who have seen this film, I thought I'd include these credits because it's just kind of really. I've seen these so many times, these credits. It's kind of iconic towards the film with the black and orange. Maybe just me, but we'll move through the credits. Because obviously you got the great music as well, the Carpenter soundtrack, which is just fantastic. Okay, so. And the signature.
Cleaned that up, haven't they?
They have. The quality is spot on.
Yeah. I like too that like this is still the official title of the movie. It is John Carpenter's Halloween. Like if you go like in my movie library, it is in the J's. Like that is his name is officially the part of the title.
It's literally every screen has his name on it, so it's very much his baby, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Haddonfield, Illinois. I'm assuming Haddonfield is a made-up name.
Yeah, that's a fake town.
Okay. 1963. So that's going to be how many years? That's going to be 60 years next year, isn't it?
Well, I was born.
Wow. So that's what we're saying. That's 59 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I think we're just showing our age there, Ian.
Cool. It's all right. I'll leave Clown World soon. I don't mind.
So, movie, describe the initial scene. How are we kind of entering the movie with what's happening for the people at home? As I
so
go through
this is the very opening when Michael is a kid. He's only 6. And he's in his Halloween costume. And this is what Mega Geek was describing as the Steadicam shot that opens the movie. They filmed this 2 times with the Steadicam, and they went with the second one, and it was all one take both times. Wow. And so inside of the house, while it's being filmed, are all the people with the lights, and they are running around, moving these lights as the camera's moving. So it was like by the skin of their teeth constantly that they're not in the frame. There is a frame coming up. I don't know if you grabbed it, but you can kind of see the camera, but kind of not. But this is entirely from Michael's perspective. And like Mega Geek said too, this was only the second film to use a Steadicam. And it was, they didn't think they'd be able to do it because there's new technology and they had such a low budget. But they were able to do it. And this is now, an incredibly iconic opening shot. And I think it lasts, it's like a 4 or 5 minute shot. So the fact that they did it in 2 takes is just amazing, especially how well it's done.
I think on one scene, so this was there a young. The child who played Michael, was he kind of stood behind the camera?
No, so that is actually Deborah Hill, who is playing little Michael right now.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah,
and little Michael's a lot taller there for some reason.
Right, yeah. So like when we see the grabbing of the knife out of the,
drawer.
Grabbing the knife, out of the drawer and picking up the mask here in a minute, that's all Deborah Hill, who was at the time John Carpenter's wife and the co-writer of the movie.
So Michael the babysitter has been having a bit of nookie with this guy.
Well, that's his right. So this is when he kills his sister. His sister was the one who's supposed to be watching him, and he was out trick or treating, and she had her boyfriend over. And so they go upstairs, like you said, to have a little fun time.
Yeah.
He leaves, and so very well he could have killed them both was the intent, but his sister's the only one left in the house right now.
Do we know why he killed his sister? Is it ever explained?
It's supposed to be that he's just pure evil. There's no rhyme or reason.
Oh, right. He just wanted to do it. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what Loomis says, isn't it?
Yeah. So at some point, somebody must have put a mask over the camera with some peepholes.
Yeah. A lot of people don't realize how incredibly difficult it is to do this, especially how Matt was describing the people with the lights and stuff like that. And we're talking about film here. We're not talking about digital. So film is unforgiving when it comes to lighting. So they had to get the lighting spot on,
Yeah.
and on the second take, and they did it. So it's a pretty amazing achievement. But as I said, it goes right over the heads of people that make films today because it's all digital.
Yep.
And you can get away with so much with digital, but with film, it's totally unforgiving. You've got to get it right, otherwise it just has all kind of grain on it and shit like that, and it just looks awful. But they got it. They did it. They got it spot on.
Swappers, did you realize at the time this was a class leading photography and shooting with the camera?
I had absolutely no idea.
Yeah.
Half of me was behind the sofa, so I was barely noticing anything other than the soundtrack was the thing that really stood out to me.
Oh,
at the time.
so good, so good.
Because I mean, Carpenter, man, it's just ridiculously great, isn't it? Everything he does. But because a lot of the film at that age, a lot of the film was just audio for me because I was either hiding behind my hands or behind the sofa or behind the cushion or something, and it's almost like you don't even need to see what's going on the screen because the audio is so terrifying.
Yeah.
And then when you do look, you're just so relieved that someone's not having a knife through their head. So you kind of you calm down a little bit. Then suddenly someone gets a knife through their head, and then you shit yourself like I did. But the honestly, yeah, I totally agree with that. Especially with the uprated version, Brown, that you've got that you did the slides from.
It's fantastic.
Is it 4K?
Well, it just says Blu-ray remastered.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Blu-ray then. I mean, from what I've seen so far, I completely concur. Even when you're looking through a blurry mask of Captain Kirk like this, then you can still see that how uprated it is. I mean, when we all saw this originally, we were watching on like low def cathode ray TVs, weren't we? But this is like
4:3.
Yeah, exactly. So, man, this is a treat. This is a real treat.
What's the name of his sister again?
Judy.
Judith
Myers.
Right. So, so at the moment there, she's just naked, covering herself up, no blood, and then literally a few seconds later, she's covered in blood. So, would she have been pouring the blood on herself? Maybe.
Yeah, I believe so, because he looks, so the camera will pan up and it like he's watching, just so the audience can also see like what he's doing, stabbing her, but it's also so that she can start smearing it on herself. And interesting too, like when they released this on television, they had to make the eye holes smaller. So if you watched it on TV back in the day, you could barely even see what's really going on.
We can barely see now, but
Also, around about that time, especially with slasher movies, they always had to have a girl that bared her breasts.
Always.
It was
Indeed.
like standard.
Very problematic though nowadays, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
So he's done the crime. He's going downstairs, and this is his parents returning, isn't it?
Mm.
Yep.
And this is probably the only real time when we see him totally unmasked.
Yeah, that's before he turns into a ghoul. Unassuming little kid, just like Damien in the Omen movies.
Yeah, with a huge knife. It is a big knife.
Yeah, suddenly he's small.
Yeah, and the parents here, it's always when I was a kid, I didn't understand. Now I do. But when they pan out, they really kind of hang on this shot for a while. And the parents don't move. The mom stays there with her hands in her pocket, and the dad stays in that stance. And I understand now it's for artistic purposes. But when I was a kid, that was the only thing where I was like, man, they're really like not concerned.
Is this still the same shot, or have they swapped to another camera? I can't remember.
No, now they've switched cameras.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So all I remember is it just kind of pans out into the distance with the music going.
Mm.
So that was the end of that. So Smith's Grove, is this the hospital, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the town where it's supposed to be like a 6-hour drive from Haddonfield. It's the town where he's in the mental hospital.
Okay, so this is 15 years later. And he's pissing it down. So here he is, Dr. Loomis.
Always good for photography, Rain. Always.
The color palette in this shot when he's talking to the nurse on the
Who's
drive.
smoking.
Yeah, yeah, she's smoking. But I just remember being blown away, even when it was just on DVD when I was younger. I was just like, these are the kind of things that really started getting me into cinema because the color palette was just incredible. Like Dean Cundy's work is really stunning.
Looks even better now on the Blu-ray.
Is that
So
that's not teal, clinging teal, is it? The photography that he used? No, it isn't. You know the photography they use now. Sorry, go ahead.
They're driving to the mental institution, aren't they?
Yeah, so they're supposed to be moving him. They're like moving him to another facility, and this is supposed to be, like he's done working with Michael. He's kind of given up on him, or I had already given up on him, trying to reach him.
This is great. This is the nurse lighting one up. Can you believe it?
Only in the 70s, man.
Yeah. And then they're driving and they see in the distance or in the darkness the inmates have been released, haven't they? Or escaped.
And this is never really explained, like why they're out. You can kind of, it's a little alluded to that Michael helped them escape. But it's funny enough, like in sequels down the road, it's like retcon so that, there's this huge conspiracy and all this bullshit. But keeping with the original, it's just that this is just when he wanted to escape. He's 21 years old now, and this is what he wanted, as in like he could have done it at any time, but it's this night that he decides he wants to go back out.
Yeah, didn't Loomis say something just clicked in him and that was it?
Yep.
Well,
so
he killed everybody. Everybody else got out, didn't they? That's basically what
he's trying to commandeer the car with the nurse.
Poor nurse.
Well, I think she gets away, doesn't she?
Yeah, she gets away.
I see what you mean by the color palettes. You can just see just looks so good with the Blu-ray.
The orange and teal. I can't remember what he uses there.
This shot right here, I don't know if you have another frame of it, but when he smashes the window here, you can actually see the wrench. Like there's a wrench attached to it. So it's like a full-on, it's a full-on wrench that they actually attach to a mannequin arm.
In the chat, Dark Side of the Walk, hello, mate. These patients are all stir-fry crazy. They are. They are, mate.
See, in those days, it was all old school. I never forget that story that James Cameron said when he told Arnold Schwarzenegger to push his hand through the window, and he did it. And it was a real window.
Oh, shit.
For the Terminator, he told him to. So as I'm saying, it's all old school, isn't it? Using the wrench and stuff like that. Old school.
The nurse has escaped, and Michael's got the car, hasn't he?
Mm.
and he's away.
He's
And
gone. The evil is gone.
The
Oh, no,
evil is gone.
Was
Is
that
that
the
what he
second one? Or
says?
was that the first one? I
No,
can't
he
remember.
says that here. The evil's gone from here. The evil is
Oh,
gone.
right. Oh, God. Yes, he does. Doesn't he? Yeah.
I always remember as a kid, I thought he played his character. He was really good in this.
He was great. Like, even though he was passive about it at the best, he still gave it his all.
He did, because he's a professional. That's
Yeah.
why.
And
No.
the budget originally was 300,000, but when they
Yeah.
found that he would accept it, that's when they kicked in the extra money, and he filmed for 8 days was his filming. So he got
Yeah.
paid like 25, 30 grand for 8 days of filming.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't really want to do it, but he did it. And he was late coming out of his trailer and stuff like that. I don't know if you heard the stories. He really gave them a hard time. But he gave them such a hard time, he ended up in the second one.
Yeah.
No, and the fourth and the fifth and the sixth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
In the chats, Time Prophet, hello Time Prophet. Michael Myers later married an axe murderer. He did.
Whoa,
know what?
man.
Not
Whoa,
quite that
man.
one.
You know what James Cameron and John Carpenter has in common? They both married their producers. So James Cameron married, I can't remember the girl he married, and she's the one that produced
Gail
Terminator.
Ann Hurd.
That's it. And also Carpenter with this one. That's crazy, right?
Yep.
Dark Side of the Walk at Miss Balance as me. Putting this out to the panel, can you think of an alternative cooking implement Michael could use if the knife was in the dishwasher?
I'm sure
A
he
what?
could kill someone with a fork.
Or what?
A what?
Possibly a wok, yes, or he could
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
kill
a
them with the
wok.
dishwasher, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen him get hit with frying pans.
Oh, yeah, frying pans. Big, heavy cast iron frying pan would be great.
And the guy that played Michael Myers in this film, he directed, I can't remember, he directed some
Major
famous-
Payne. His name's Nick Castle, and he directed Major Payne.
No, yeah, I know he directed, but did he not direct Last Starfighter?
Oh, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Really?
Isn't that awesome? Isn't that
Wow.
awesome? Crazy.
That's a great film, is that? Anyway. Okay.
I will Google to confirm.
Oh,
I don't know if
spatulas.
I'm
Spatulas. There you go. Spatulas.
Tim Hannibom, garlic press on the knob.
Oh, lemon squeezer.
So you see these leaves on the ground here? They filmed it in California, which hence all the in the north in America, that all these leaves on the trees, if they're not on the ground, are going to be yellow or brown, or it's beautiful, but they're certainly not going to be green. So they only had 2 bags worth of fake leaves.
What?
And they would spread them across the screen and have fans blowing them. And then at the end of the shot, they'd have to go fucking rake them back up to reuse them, because it's all they had. But you'd never know watching the movie that they filmed it in any place other than a small town in, northern America.
I think one of the guys in the chat said in a couple of shots, I think it was Tim Hannibom, I think in a couple of shots you can see some palm trees, apparently.
Yes, you can in a couple shots. Yep.
Okay, so Haddonfield. I'm assuming this is the day after.
This is Halloween.
So this is the first time where we see Laurie, isn't it? She just could be walking down the street effectively, isn't she?
With her flares. Yeah.
We get introduced to our main cast essentially.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten that her father was into real estate.
Strode Real Estate.
Yeah. Because the house hadn't been. The house is still for sale, isn't it? The Myers house.
It's really funny because this documentary is saying, look how they dressed Jamie Lee Curtis. They look like frumpy, and the rest of them are all dressed.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. People today they just don't want to accept what happened in the past. They want to change what happened in the past. It's ridiculous. Sorry. Anyway, I digress.
That's her old fella.
Yeah.
And I think, is she just going to school?
She's going to school, but first he'd asked her to drop off the keys to the Myers house because he's going to be showing it later in the day. So that's how we. So in this story, Michael is not he's not out for anyone in particular. He's just out to have a rampage. And unfortunately for her, when she drops off the keys,
that was it.
That's it. That's
yeah. Because I just I couldn't quite figure out why them. So you just said she just basically dropping the keys off. That was the trigger, wasn't it?
Yeah, because right, you'll see him pop up, and that's when he's like, "Oh, that's the one I want to stalk."
Well, didn't they make it? She was connected to him or something like that in the second one, and
yeah, but I mean, like that's kind of part of the classic line now. But in the newer movies, in the past 3, the newer trilogy that came out, it's a direct sequel. Those are direct sequels to this movie. So she is not his sister in those movies. But throughout the, chronologically in the lore of the series, which has like 4 or 5 different timelines at this point, and all of them but the new one, she is his sister.
In the chat, Romeo Tango November Zulu, Jamie Lee Curtis looks great even when dressed frumpy. She does.
She looks great in a kind of it's like a Sandy from Greece kind of frumpy though, isn't it? Where it's really hot. But it's still a bit studious.
Ironically made the same year as well, Greece.
But her mum was in a famous horror film as well, wasn't she?
She was in Psycho.
Exactly.
Is it Janet Leigh?
Yep.
Janet Leigh, yep.
Oh, Tim's in.
Hello, Timmy. Okay, so that's the Myers house. Has that been derelict, empty for 15 years, effectively?
Supposed to be, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it looked like this originally, and they had to dress it up for the opening shot.
And this is where she's dropping. Is she just dropping the key at the house?
Yeah, for her dad to get it later in the day because he's trying to sell it. And this is little Tommy. He's in the newer he was in Halloween Kills and Halloween. Yeah, no, just Halloween Kills from last year as his like plus 40-year self.
Oh, okay. I don't think the last year's offering was. I quite enjoyed last year's Halloween.
I did too. I liked Halloween Kills.
Yeah, not this one though. But moving on. So this is where she's dropping the keys, and then
scary.
And then he appears, doesn't he?
And when the music kicks in, it's just so good. As soon as his silhouette comes in, the music just blasts right here.
So this is the moment where she became the target.
Yep. And he picks up targets along the way because he's stalking her. And we'll get to the scenes, but like as she's running into people, he's like, all right, and that one, and that one.
Tim Manabom, the house is the key to bringing the main characters together. So she just walks off. Is it Tommy, did you say?
Yeah.
She doesn't look like a student at all.
But she was only 17 there.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, she was only 17 years old when they filmed this.
It doesn't look 17. She looks like a grown-ass woman. Sorry.
No. I find I feel like people in the 70s just looked older in general.
Fine looking 17, yeah. And then Michael's there. So this is the scene where Loomis, is he having a go at the guy there for letting Michael free, or?
Yeah, they can't. They're trying to come up with an explanation for how the hell he got free, and then how the hell someone like him was able to just know how to drive a car. And it's never explained. I feel like they just, this scene was written with those lines of dialogue to make sure, like, hey, we're aware of this too. But who knows?
Didn't Loomis say, well, he looked like he could drive it to me or something? He was doing just fine on his own driving it.
Yeah, because the director here of the mental institution says, like, God for God's sakes, he can't drive a car. And he says, well, he was doing very well last night.
Yeah.
Perhaps someone around here gave him lessons.
Evil has no boundaries.
Yeah, this is where we get the pure
Drive a
evil
car.
speech, isn't
Yeah.
it? And Loomis is going to, well, does he know? He doesn't know where he's going yet, does he?
No, he
Or-
does. He knows he's going to go back
Oh,
to
yeah,
Haddonfield.
because right. Okay, sorry, maybe.
Yeah, he's like, of course he's going to go to Haddonfield, call the police, tell him exactly where he's going. And the guy suggests like, well, you don't know that. And he's like, basically like, come on, dude. Yes, he is.
And all these kids look like they're all grown-ass adults. For some reason. I don't know why. But there you go.
It's not Grange Hill, is it?
Yeah, not an iPad inside of iPhone or anything.
Mm.
So she's looking out the window. The car.
The car's pretty dark, isn't it?
Stolen car.
No way is that
17.
girl.
I'm telling you. Yes, she was.
Because she was in Colombo before she did this, and she wasn't 17 in that.
All right, hang on. Let me confirm.
Yeah.
I will look it up.
She's gorgeous, though.
She might have been 18, but I'm telling you what, she was young.
I had a crush on her when I watched this movie. She's lovely.
I had a crush on her when
She
she
was-
was in Trading Places.
She was 17 when this was being filmed. So she was born in 1958, and the movie was filmed in 1977.
Mm.
So that would be 17.
Wow. She looks like she's 25.
It'll be the grey cardigan.
No, it just how tall she is. She looks quite tall as well. She does. She looks like she's 25. I would never have pegged her for 17.
Here you go. Time Profit. Kids were more intelligent in the 70s and looked older. They were intelligent in the 80s as well.
I didn't. I still look like a kid when I was 17.
So there's Michael there just stood behind the car.
Mm.
Does anybody know the story about the mask, where the mask was obtained?
They got it from a store. It was a William Shatner mask, wasn't it?
It is William
Star
Shatner,
Trek,
yes.
Cut
They
the eyes
originally, they cut the eyes out and painted it white and combed the hair back. They originally were going to go with a clown mask.
They were.
Yep. But they enjoyed the, you could kind of project anything onto this creepy ass, white mask, any kind of face. It looked like every kind of face.
Who was the guy that when they did it, they just went, "My God, that's it." I can't remember. It was in the documentary. I think it was.
I know what you're talking about. I don't remember his name though.
Yeah, nor do I.
This is where Tommy's getting bullied by some of the other kids.
How old is this kid? 7?
Yeah, I think he's supposed to be like the age Michael was when he murdered his sister,
Right.
but they're yelling, the boogeyman's going to get you, which would, it's like foreshadowing for the conclusion of the movie. And there he is.
It's so mean.
That was quite tricky to get that still, because you just got a little bit more of the face of the mask.
Is it ever explained in the movie where Michael gets his mask from?
Yeah, so in a few scenes, Lori is with her friend, and her friend is the daughter of the police chief, and it's alluded to that's how he gets his mask, because they ask what he's up to, and he says like someone broke into the store, but all they stole was some rope, a couple of knives, and a Halloween mask.
Oh, okay.
So hold on. So are they
Yeah, I
saying
remember that, yes.
They saying that William Shatner's face was a Halloween mask?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Okay, so Michael's following Tommy, and I think
No, that's right.
that's the end of the scene. So here we go. So this is Dr. Loomis, isn't it? That is California, isn't it?
It is.
It's so different to the UK. We used to, just watching
I know.
scenes like that, just looking at a scene like that, you just think this is another planet. You know,
Yeah,
you can
I
really
want to be
get some
there.
detachment from the murderous events of this film. So it kind of makes you feel safe almost, because you think this would never happen in this country. Only these crazy Americans are going to be doing this kind of shit. Like, you know, we've got like just so many built-up areas. You can't see the skyline. There's trees everywhere. It's raining, and this is like the polar opposite to that, literally. So we in this country, you can make that kind of that leap that, you know, you're never going to have to deal with these situations. So it does remove you from it. But obviously, American audiences are going to react to this differently to we did.
Oh yeah, I mean for sure. I grew up in a small town, much like Haddonfield, so it's definitely when you're a kid too, seeing that movie, it definitely creeps into you. Then it's like, oh my god, that could happen right here in this town.
Remember when I was young, when I used to watch horror films, I kept wondering, because I live in a council flat, I kept wondering, oh, why don't they do horror films in a council flat? Maybe because it was like shit. But it did make you feel safe, because they never made horror films in a council flat or anything like that, did they? It's always in America. So, yeah.
Is this where he's ringing the police in Haddonfield?
Yeah, and he's trying to get them to believe him, and you know, they're just throughout the movie, not until the end do they really take him seriously. I mean, they feel like they're humoring him, but in the end, they realize what's going on.
Yeah,
there's always this dumb sheriff, isn't there, in town?
Always
a dummy. Yeah, doesn't believe.
He sees an abandoned pickup truck.
Why is it only him though? Why didn't somebody help him? Why was there another doctor with him? Or because the guy's dangerous, right? So you'd think they'd give him a cop or security or something, that they both go and check. Why did he just go on his own?
Yeah,
he's the only one taking it seriously, and yeah, here too you find out where he. So it's cool. Like you find out where he gets all of the things he has, including the mechanic suit. So like you know, Dr. Loomis walks over here and finds the what he was wearing the night before, the gown.
There you go.
But misses the body that's coming up.
Next, see,
and yeah, this here's the rabbit in red, which was the he noticed the nurse was smoking in the car. Yeah. So
Very
he's like,
good.
oh shit,
Very
okay,
good.
this was Michael. He was here.
What happened to the nurse?
She ran away, didn't she?
Did she come back?
So she is in the second movie, and she's in Halloween H2O, which
proper
is
geek, proper nerd, folks.
And
she ran off and came back in the second one.
Yeah, she came back in the second one, and she's in Halloween H2O, and finally meets her maker in that movie. And then she was in Halloween Kills, since that's a different timeline, and gets killed by him again.
Wow. So according to the new timeline, this is the only film that's relevant to the newer films, isn't it? Did they ignore number 2?
Yeah, they ignored number 2 is where they introduced the Laurie's his sister story, which interestingly, like they convinced Carpenter to write Halloween 2, but he did not want to. And you can almost feel like what he describes in his commentary when you're watching it, which is just like, yo, I'm just having him murder people and I'm running out of ideas. And he said he was like six beers deep when he was just like, I need to come up with something. And he's like, oh shit, I'll make her the sister. That's what I'll do. So they threw in a scene at the beginning of the third act to reveal that that's why Michael was stalking her. I like this a lot better, where it's, you know, Michael's supposed to be the essence of evil with no rhyme or reason. And I prefer this now that I've seen it. Like the sister storyline's cool if you follow this one, part 2 in Halloween H2O as like a trilogy, and that's really cool. But I also really like bringing back that the essence of Michael is that he's just pure evil. There's not any particular reason he's doing what he's doing.
Well, the guy who wrote Hit the Hitcher, when he was writing The Hitcher, he kind of said that when he was watching Halloween, there was really no reason why Michael Myers was doing what he was doing. He was just evil, and he took that as a standplate for his character in The Hitcher. Because the guy in Rutger Hauer plays The Hitcher. There's no reason why Rutger Hauer was doing all that stuff. He was just evil. So it kind of gave, this film kind of gave him the green light to do that. which I find quite interesting, actually.
So this is the guy who's just been, well, he's been murdered, hasn't he? So
Okay, catch up on it.
yeah, almost got discovered. But here you go, Tim Annabom, movie cynic, good comments.
Hey, thank you.
He knows his shit, obviously, about this. He loves it, doesn't he? So back to Haddonfield with lots more long walking
The girl
shots.
with the blonde hair, she's quite iconic now, isn't she? She's done a lot of slasher movies, isn't she?
Yeah, she. I mean, this is definitely, I think, her most iconic. And I mean, Jamie Lee went on to be the original Scream Queen too. You know, she starred in a bunch of movies of you know, the horror genre as the Scream Queen.
So the blonde girl, she was in Carrie and other horror films as well. And the girl with the dark hair, she was in Assault and Precinct 13. So Carpenter has a way of just using actors that he knows. So yeah, it's quite interesting.
I think Swappers has gone critical mass, but we'll plow on. So Michael is following them, or following Laurie, but now he's got some new targets, hasn't he?
And they incense the shit out of him here in a second too, because they antagonize him.
Yeah, they see him, don't they?
That part where he drives by and they like a couple of frames ago, it's so creepy because you can see him actually turning and staring at them in that moment, and it's just weird as shit. Like I remember when I was a kid thinking if I saw that, I'd just run.
In the chats, Franco, Swappers, are you there?
He'll be back.
Bear with me. I can see him.
There he is.
Franco!
Did you go critical mass?
Yeah, asked me to log in again for some weird reason. It sent me some code. I was listening to you guys, though. It's fine. It's fine. Carry on.
Okay, so drive by. And then he stops, doesn't he? This was like, ooh.
This is one part that I thought the editing was funny too, because he's driving like relatively slow by them, and then when she yells "speed kills" and it cuts them, he's probably fucking cruising at like 35 miles an hour.
Yeah,
which, you know, it's just an editing thing. But after you've seen it about 80 times, you pick up on those things.
Here you go. Time Profit. Did you know, Shatner, you sued the movie for using his likeness, and they settled out of court?
they did. Yes. You use my face in this movie.
I can't believe you guys did that to me. Bones.
I really love how conservative they're dressed for the 70s, because when they carried on making slasher movies, especially I Know What You Did Last Summer, what's her name kept showing her cleavage, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're all discussing, basically they're going to be babysitting, but two of them are going to be having a bit of fun.
Of course.
And
That's
Laurie's going to be Laurie's going to be taking
sensible.
the slack, as it were.
She's the sensible one.
Yeah.
There he is,
Michael.
That is an iconic shot right there.
Well, is it true to say that several people played him in certain scenes?
Yeah, for sure. There were several people to, you know, pick up a shot here or there, but it was vast majority Nick Castle.
Yes,
he definitely set the tone for the walk and, you know, his gait and all that. I think it's I think the person who played him, I can't remember his first name, but it's like Jude Courtney, who played him in the 3 new movies. I think he did an incredible job really emulating Nick Castle's style.
Yeah.
And John Carpenter, like, he asked John Carpenter for direction, and he's like, "We hired you because we liked your walk. Just walk."
Wow. Yeah.
There you go, Franco. That is not a poster you want on your bedroom wall.
Did Dean the guy who did the photography? Didn't he
Dean
play him as
Cundy.
well at one point?
Did
I can't
he
remember.
play as Michael?
Yeah,
I don't.
I think
I
he
don't
did.
know.
Of course, Laurie's friend doesn't see him.
I'm sorry, guys, but they look like grown-ass people. Sorry.
Here you go, Tim. Dean Cundy, cinematographer, also shot The Thing, Back to the Future, Jurassic Park.
Did he ever win an Academy Award?
I think he did.
Good.
He did for Jurassic Park, maybe.
Why am I
sure.
thinking he did Stargate as well? But that might be just me.
Dean Cundy used to have a big beard. He looked like a technician when he was younger. All of them look like technicians.
When he was about 17, yeah.
Yeah.
So she
He
looks
always
up.
gets killed in John Carpenter movies. The one on the right. She got
Who
killed
plays
in
Nancy? Yeah.
Yeah, she got killed in Assault on Precinct 13.
So, it's all the same actors, basically.
Well, he uses actors that he can rely
Right.
on, doesn't
Okay.
This has given me a really good idea for a Halloween decoration.
he? Yeah.
As you
And
can
it's-
see, the
and
leaves
trees.
spread across the ground that they have
Yeah.
to scoop back up later.
about 20 of them.
The
Yeah.
same basket of leaves that they used
Yeah,
all
the
the
same
way
one.
through.
Plus the tree. Have you noticed how the trees are all in leaf as well, green?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
You do
But
crazy
you
things.
see the car right there too on the right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you have a low budget thing, you have to do those things, don't you? You have to hope that the audience doesn't notice it. So yeah.
Yeah, and I would have never noticed that either. I was just learning
Yeah.
about the movie. That's the genius of this movie.
Mm.
Oh, that's a hell of a distance she's just covered.
Yeah.
Certainly is.
Time Profit. I also like this. Yeah, The Thing was showing on the TV. I like that. Yes. I wonder if he knew at this time that he was going to be doing The Thing, because that was some
No, he
really good
didn't.
foreshadowing, wasn't it?
Also, you can tell that's LA. Or is it LA? Yeah, you can tell.
Or is there a giveaway palm tree somewhere?
No, it's the sidewalk, as the Americans would say, and also those things that are, if you know what I mean, the grass.
The
There's
hedges.
a level up.
Yeah, the verges.
Yeah.
Movie. Do you want to read a comment, please?
The uninspired reviewer says, "Love seeing movie cynics' passion for cinema come through immensely when talking about this film." Yeah, I'm not shitting on one. I do. There is a reason why I talk about movies. I love movies, and I
He hasn't got any
love
toilet
high
roll.
quality ones.
He's no toilet roll to shit, so he can't.
So she's saying that somebody wants to meet you, but she's just having her on, isn't she? So
She keeps saying that it's this guy, Mike Godfrey, and I went to school with a kid named that, and I really didn't like that guy.
this is where Laurie turns around, and then you get this jump moment, don't you? It's the
He looks
police.
scary.
Look at those chops.
That's the cannon.
That's
Those
the
70s
father of the
chops.
girl who's just been on previously, isn't it?
Yeah, that is Police Chief Lee Brackett.
Mm. Nice sideburns.
Yeah, I
Love
was
it.
going to say that.
Is Laurie going home now?
Yeah, and I was going to ask Mega Geek something too. So you don't see this a lot in movies anymore, but they used to wet the streets a lot.
Yeah, no, you do still see it in movies.
Do you? I guess I haven't picked up on that.
It's an old DOP trick where if there's nothing interesting in the frame, what they'll do is they'll wet the floor, and so that the lights could, any kind of light could reflect off it.
Yeah.
It's an old trick. It's been used in the 30s, 40s, 50s.
I always found that interesting because I'm just like, the audience, just as a general audience, like you don't have to be a film geek to notice something like that.
So they've been collecting the leaves again. Will they not be getting a little bit soggy by now?
Yeah, they said they did say they started to become just shitty after so many uses.
So she's in a room looking out the window. It's like, fucking hell, that'd shit me up, that. Michael's there behind the sheets. I always like the is there one shot and then the next shot is just gone.
Just gone.
Like Jason Bourne.
Yeah. Just like teleports away.
Do you think she ever watched him like slowly just wander off, or did he just vanish?
Yeah, that is a good question because, you know, based on how it was shot, it's not like she ever looked away.
Yeah.
No, it's that mysterious thing about him, isn't there? Like, why doesn't he die when he gets shot 17 times or you know, stabbed 15 times? And, you know, it's
If
that
you
kind of thing, isn't it?
in the credits, he's referred to as the Shape. That's one of his,
Yes.
you know, monikers, and it's because he's supposed to be able to move in and out of the shadows and just, you know, he's just the essence of evil.
Mm.
Is this where the blonde girl rings up but she's eating, so it's like a crank call?
Yeah.
Because you can hear it on the you can actually hear the sound of it going.
Yeah, it's really bizarre.
Yes, but that foreshadows what happens, doesn't it?
Yes.
Towards,
And then she
towards
puts the
the-
phone down and then
Yep.
picks it back up again. And then just lays down.
She lays down.
So I assume this is a little bit later, so they're all getting ready for Halloween now, aren't they?
Yep, off to
What's
do her
that
babysitting
big
duty.
deal about Halloween, for God's sakes? I'm English. So
Yeah, why is it so big over in the States, Matt?
Because it's actually fun. Like, it's an actual. I don't know how else to describe
that's
it.
why.
I mean, I don't know how big horror movies are over in your neck of the woods, but over here, like, people, there's an obsession with them. We love horror movies. There's something about being frightened that's a lot of fun. And I don't. Halloween's my favorite holiday. I don't know. I wish it was an actual day that we got off over here. Like, we don't have a day off like you do for Christmas or anything. But you ask a lot of Americans, the majority would say their favorite holiday is Halloween.
The thing is, though, Americans have Halloween, then they have Thanksgiving, then they have Christmas. Talk about greedy, for God's sakes.
They don't have Boxing Day, though. Franco, we don't do fun here in the UK. That is quite correct.
That's not
I
true.
feel like
Not on this channel, anyway.
I feel like the fact that we have Halloween over here, I just made an observation before of, like, we seem to have a holiday to cover every emotion.
Yep.
And, you know, Halloween, that's one for fear.
Don't you get me copyright striked.
Struck, Brown. Copyright struck. Get your tenses correct.
That as well. So
Who's that?
This
Yul
is what-
Brynner? Somebody mentioned Yul Brynner. Just
yeah,
now.
me go. Where are we? Time Prophet, Carpenter based Michael Myers on Yul Brynner's character from Westworld.
Oh, interesting.
I think Westworld was a couple of years before that, wasn't it?
Yul Brynner was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, he was a great actor. Yeah. So this is where they're making plans for that evening.
Yeah, where Nancy's going to convince her to, like, hey, watch this kid so I can have my boyfriend over.
In the chats, not Brian, in the UK, our fun is complaining. It is.
No, it's not. We have fun, do we?
Complaining
When?
about all the kids that are coming to your door trick or treating.
Little bastards. Dr. Loomis is going to the grave, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do we
he's
know
gonna
why?
go. He is going to check out Judith Myers' tombstone. Is his intent?
But do we know why?
I assume he's just kind of, I think, following his intuition of what he think Michael would be doing. So he's gonna, you know, his plan would be, and it made sense to me of just like, okay, I'm gonna kind of follow, you know, detective work of like, well, he killed his sister and he lived in Haddonfield, so let's go take a look at, you know, her grave and see if there's any clues here, and then he'll go to the Michael Myers house, and he certainly finds a clue.
He's taking the headstone, which was unexpected.
He's wasting his time. The evil is gone. He just needs to go to the house. That's all he needs to do.
I really like this scene too because of the conversation that the groundskeeper's trying to have with him. He's trying to tell him this like horrific story, and
He's just not interested, is he?
Yeah, he's not just not interested when it starts to get when it's about to get really horrific. He just cuts him off, and he's like, "Are we going down the right way?"
I'll tell you what is horrific. That double denim right there.
Hell yeah!
You're not a double denim.
Isn't there a
fan,
word for
are you?
that in Canada? If you wear
Double
double denim. I don't know. There's a word for it. I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, sorry. Carry on.
Moving on.
Yeah.
So this is where he's just like, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
So back in the car, smoking blow.
Smoking
do.
blow.
Tisk.
Definitely two grown-ass women driving that car there. Don't look 17 at all. None of them.
This is where they're driving towards her dad, isn't it? Who's at the hardware store where they've stolen.
Yeah, so they're like babysitting
Michael's
across
following.
the street. Yeah, they're babysitting across the street from each other, and they're going to be, they're driving there. But in the meantime, they're smoking a blunt and talking about boys. And
Is that what we call them?
interestingly,
Blunts?
that's what we call them over here. But what's interesting too, a little tidbit is, so John Carpenter is credited for scripting the movie along with Deborah Hill, and she wrote all of the girls' dialogue, and he specialized in writing the males' dialogue, particularly Loomis.
Oh, okay.
So all the creepy stuff,
good.
all the weird, all of the weird things, or as Lee Brackett would call it, fancy talk. That was all Carpenter writing, and then all of the all the girl talk, all the stuff about boys and all that's written by Deborah Hill.
Didn't Alex Kurtzman do all the girl talk? That's what he specialized in, wasn't it, for Star Trek? Moving on. Stream killer. Okay, so is this the hardware store that's been robbed? It is, yes. You can see the hardware.
That comes in every small town. The sheriff always has to wear stuff like that. Always. The tan trousers, crazy.
Just surprised he's not wearing a hat as well.
Yeah, Americans do uniforms well, don't they?
Yeah.
Do we? I don't know.
Yeah.
Nah.
In movies.
I made a low budget. Well, I didn't make it. I was just hired to make a low budget film shot in England, and they had Michael Ironside playing a cop, and he was dressed exactly like that. Exactly like that.
Michael Ironside. What a man.
Mm-hmm.
Time Prophet, Donald Pleasance was so pleased with the young cast he would stay behind at the end of filming and help them pack up the sets. Yeah, probably because he wanted to go home permanently.
Yeah.
New face. Here you go. Fat Gandalf. Hello. I was a cop, 21 years. We wear that shit. Looks good though, mate. Fucking looks good.
So it was standard issue then.
Yeah, Americans do uniforms great, I think. But
excellent.
Yeah. So
we're not smoking.
He's explaining what's been stolen. The mask. What else did you say?
A rope and a couple of knives, he says.
Yep. What a nice car she's got.
Can't be hers, can it?
Cool.
Fat Gandalf again. Hello, Fat Gandalf. Got to own it when no one else will. You have, mate.
So, Matt, was your town kind of like this when you grew up?
Very much so, except all the cops wore dark. They were wearing navy blue. And that was the only difference. But otherwise, as far as the look of the town, absolutely. This could be any town in America, it feels like,
Are you American, Matt?
I am very American.
So does that mean you actually come from America?
I full disclosure, I was adopted. I really don't know what my actual heritage is, but I was born in California and I was raised in Maine, which was completely all the way across the country in New England.
Wow.
Yeah. And now I live in Tennessee, in Nashville.
Whoa.
So I've, all 3 points really. Boom, boom, boom.
That's our vacation sorted next year, boys.
Hey, get in. I'll book it tomorrow. This street here, I just love these cars so much. I've always adored American automotion. This is just these beautiful land yachts driving around in the street here. I can remember that, like, when I first went to the States, and I was just hoping that this is what I'd see everywhere, and it was just like compacts and hatchbacks and Japanese cars and European cars, and I was pissed off.
That does look like California, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. I just wanted to see these big angular things driving around all over the place, and I just didn't get to see them, and I was gutted. I need to go back to the 70s, obviously.
Yeah, I would imagine this would be the suburbs somewhere. So that was Loomis walking towards the chief, wasn't it? Can you see the car in the background?
Yeah, I was saying,
which
see
I've
that
never
shot?
noticed before. Yeah.
Yep, right there.
It just drives around the back a little. So close.
So close, but so far, Loomis.
Right, okay, so it's starting to get dark now, isn't it? JJ lens flare, see it?
Yeah, some J.J. Abrams style lens flare.
Yeah. Car following.
And they're high, so they don't notice. These kind of streets, though, are very California. You're not going to find this kind of street in, like Illinois or something like that.
Right, so this is where it's nighttime now, so this is where it's all going to start happening, isn't it? So
mostly come at night.
Mostly.
I will apologise. The slides are very dark from this moment onwards, folks. This is the house where everything happens, isn't it?
Yep.
It's just one house, isn't it?
Is that a pumpkin?
Well, he does cross the street when he's chasing Lori later. So I guess technically 2 houses.
Yeah, because he just appears in the shot from nowhere, doesn't he?
Well, no, in that scene, so you actually, like, I thought it was always cool. So they see, there's a shot of him rolling up and parking, and then you actually see him get out of the car and close the car door and walk up to that tree. I always thought that was interesting. They gave him, as much as he's supposed to be the essence of evil, like that, I was just like, shit, like he's a person. And that really, when I was a kid, made me feel like anyone could be this, anyone could do this crazy shit, which really instills the fear in you.
Here you go. Time Profit. Did you know modern cameras rarely suffer from lens flares? If you see a lens flare, it was added later. So that was a genuine analog lens flare.
But did you know that in the old days, lens flares were frowned upon, and the movie that actually introduced lens flares was a film called it's the one with Paul Newman. Oh Jesus! What a brain! Stop working. Cool Hand Luke.
Okay.
Luke
I thought you were going to say that
won
one.
the Oscar for photography, and it was the first film to actually use lens flares, real lens flares. And after that, every film accepted it. So there you go.
Especially Star Trek. We're back at the Myers house now. Loomis and the sheriff are going back to the house, aren't they?
Looks like Columbo. It's dressed like Columbo.
Yeah. This is where he's going upstairs, and this is where he says this is where it happened 15 years ago, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they also find a dead dog, and it says, and they say,
"Oh yes,
he's been feeding." So.
They should never kill dogs in movies.
What's this thing that comes through the window?
Looks like a gutter. Like for
okay,
the
so
rain,
that just fell
and it
down. It just fell down by accident. Right, okay.
Yeah.
It's real glass there. No sugar glass or anything like that. Crazy. Old school.
Is this where he's telling the policeman as well that he needs to take this seriously?
Yeah, this is where he starts to actually, he still seems grumpy and annoyed by this, almost like it's an inconvenience. But based on how he describes Michael, someone with the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes, he starts to be like, okay, all right, I'll help you. It's like, okay, good. This guy like murdered someone when he was a kid and escaped a mental hospital. You probably ought to take this seriously.
Right, so now we're back at babysitters.
She's, oh my God, what's she dressed in? Crazy. Oh, he's a spaceman.
Yeah, he's an astronaut, isn't he?
Laser man.
Terminator dog.
Yeah. Your parents are dead.
Your foster parents are dead.
Yeah.
How's Wolfie?
Yeah.
I wonder if that's where they got the idea.
Wolfie. Yeah.
Hey, Janelle, is Wolfie okay? I can hear him barking.
When she gets killed, I get confused because it just looks like he just cuts a little bit of her hair off.
Yeah, it does. I think that's I don't know, in a way that's like a testament to this movie, is it can be, so terrifying, but all the same, like there's not really a lot of blood.
No, there isn't. Yeah,
not really a lot of gore.
Yeah,
it's all in your imagination.
Yeah, I thought very, very tame compared to today's standards.
Well, and those days as well. Remember, was it the Friday the 13th? A shitload of blood in it.
Yeah. So with Halloween 2 came out after the original Friday the 13th, and the original Friday the 13th, Sean S. Cunningham, who created it, said that it was trying to rip off Halloween to make a buck. And then because that movie was so popular, with Halloween 2, they tried to emulate the gore factor of Friday the 13th because that got so popular. What? So Halloween 2 is much more bloody as compared to this one.
This one was all about suspense, though.
Yeah.
And jump scares.
And the budget probably helped with that. Like, you can't budget, all the blood and gore.
Let me tell you something, right? When you're making a film and you have blood in it, especially if there's lots of blood, you got to have a bucket full of blood. Seriously. I learned that the hard way. Literally, you have to have a bucket full of blood.
This is where Todd can see everything going on over the house, isn't it?
He just sees Michael standing out there.
Boogeyman.
The boogeyman.
Yeah.
And there's Michael.
What's the name of this girl? I forget what her name is.
Nancy.
She's the girl that gets cut in the car.
Or no, Annie. Nancy's from Nightmare on Elm Street. This is Annie. Right. Sorry.
No, Annie's the other girl. Annie's the blonde girl, I think.
How do I not remember this? Out of all things to not remember character names.
Yeah, she's not Annie, because Annie's the one that gets strangled by the phone line. Because I remember her saying, "Is this one of your?" Oh, I can't remember. I'm probably wrong. You might be right.
In fact, no. Laurie Strode is the other one.
It is Annie.
That is Annie.
The actress's name is Nancy.
Oh, I see.
Nancy Loomis.
And PJ Souls is the blonde girl that says totally all the time, and she plays Linda.
She got killed in Carrie. A lot of people remember her in Carrie, looking the same.
Rest in peace, Calcon. This is where she becomes very clumsy, conveniently.
Yeah.
While Michael's outside.
In those days, you expect a bit of flesh.
Yeah.
In horror movies.
Oof. So I think this is where she's going to start washing her clothing, isn't it, in the laundry? Michael was there, wasn't he?
He hasn't knocked that off yet. I think he
Stalker.
does now. Look at that hair.
I know, it's great, isn't it? Love the hair.
I think it's awesome.
hair. Yeah.
Swappers, is this film still frightening as an adult?
It's just from looking at the stills, it's kind of frightening because I'm not watching the film. I'm kind of, a lot of it's taking place in my head. And
Yeah.
because of that, it's kind of what you're not seeing and hearing. You kind of it's adding to it. So yeah, I'd say it is, absolutely is. It's kind of like what's not going on is it's so, it's so sparse in what's happening. It's very drawn out and very kind of there's just matter of fact scenarios like this happening, and it just puts you on edge because you're waiting for something to happen.
It's remembering all those feelings when you were a kid. Watching this.
Yeah,
All
Swappers,
that nostalgia. Yeah.
Stop hiding
Yeah.
behind the sofa, Swappers. You sit down, mate. Sit down on the sofa.
I can't hide behind it. It's against the wall.
Okay, so this is foreshadowing,
Yeah, it is.
but not in this movie.
Dun, dun, dun. Winchester Pictures presents Owl Hawks. The Ting.
Did he know he was doing the thing? Or
No,
was
he didn't.
that just a convenient, just coincidence?
I don't know. I don't think he
I
did.
he was. Yeah, I don't think he knew, but he was
Yeah.
definitely a fan of the thing. So that's probably. I mean,
It's great foreshadowing though in real life, isn't it? It's quite
Yeah.
meta.
What are the odds of that?
The Ting Man. Yep.
Run things.
Our Tings.
If it was set in Jamaica, yeah, maybe.
Set in Jamaica.
What's Laurie talking about now to the kid?
I don't know.
oh,
it
they're
about-
talking about the boogeyman.
Yeah, the boogeyman, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a boogeyman.
Is it the boogie or the bogeyman?
No, it's
Boogie.
it's the disco boogeyman.
Yeah.
Boogie.
Here you go. Fat Gandalf at Mr. Brown Lights says me. You guys should do the 70s Salem lot. Fucking hell, that was Salem's lot was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, it was good.
And Hutch, didn't it? Hutch was in that one.
Yeah, I always remember. Do you know the kid tapping on the window? Fucking hell, that. Oh, that frightened the bejesus out of me when I was a kid.
It's worth watching just for James Mason.
Mm.
Oh, fantastic.
They
Salem's
always
Lot.
drag these old Hollywood stars into these horror films, don't they?
Yeah.
For gravitas.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It works though.
Well, sell to other countries, basically.
Is she saying the boogeyman exists or doesn't?
She's saying that he does not.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
trying to convince him, trying to make him look. There's no such thing as the boogeyman. And
Right,
then
okay, so we're
goes
going
to
to
a
the
car
laundry
season.
now.
Mm.
So she's doing some washing.
It's really weird how she. I do. Does anybody find it weird the way she gets killed? I don't know. I find it.
Yeah,
weird.
because you don't see anything, and then all of a sudden you hear a musical motif or a note or a chord or something, and then it's like, oh, she's gone.
That
Well,
is when he slices her, and it's like you don't see any blood. It's nowhere near her neck, and it's just weird because if she got stabbed, maybe if the knife went straight into her, then you'd understand her reaction as he sort of like scoots down the window, isn't it? But he just kind of slices her, but where? It just
He
seems
just
weird.
gives one good slice. It feels like across the left side of her neck, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No blood or anything, nothing, and she slinks down into the steering wheel
Yeah.
and lays on
Yeah.
the horn.
Because the door's been locked now, and she's locked in, so she's shouting up to the kid.
Thought it was weird. I always thought it was weird when I first saw it. I was like, oh, okay.
Again, the foreshadowing of the scene there from The Thing
McCready.
when they stood around the crash
Yeah.
site.
Yeah. I'm a real light sleeper, Giles.
The Thing is such a fantastic movie.
It's a great
Yes.
movie. It really is.
God, it's just. Oh.
Windows blasting.
Yeah. So she's trying to get out the window. She's got stuck. So she rings. This is the boyfriend ringing up, isn't it?
Paul.
Yeah. So she's going to get her. She can hear a shout when she walks in. I wonder if Tide paid for the product placement.
Did they have product placement back then? Like as a thing
I
in
don't think they
Hollywood?
did. I don't think they did, but
I wonder when that started.
maybe you're wrong.
90s, maybe.
Yeah.
Again,
Well, it's going to start on
Jolly
your
Time
channel soon, isn't it?
popcorn. Yeah. Yeah,
Jolly
it is. Yeah, you're going to be doing product placement, Matt.
What's that? Oh yeah,
You're-
I am. Actually, you're not wrong.
Paid for promotion.
Yeah, a paid promotion. I've never seen a can of popcorn in my life.
Yeah, it's
What
just
is-
the kernels, obviously, isn't it?
Yeah, what a 70s thing.
It's like canned chicken, isn't it?
Oh,
You're right.
Melvin Deeper says, hello, Melvin. They must have had product placement then, and a word from our sponsors.
Love the phone.
Yeah.
I remember
never
those
noticed
phones.
Bakelite phones, yeah.
Yeah.
Take ages
I
to
had one of
phone
those
someone.
bad boys.
Had to wait till the thing went backwards. Yeah. Those were the days.
What's she saying now?
She's going to ask
For a favor,
Lindsay-
isn't it, or something? Yeah.
yeah, the favor would be if Lindsay will go and stay with Lori across the street so that Paul can come over.
Yeah. Go on, let's,
And so they
blast
can
through
have a bit of
these.
tiffin time. Yeah.
Yeah. So the kids are going across the street. I think that's a door opening, I think. Kids are going in. That was the Michael going into the car, wasn't it? If I remember rightly.
Yeah, I think he's getting in the he's getting in the car prepping to
Yeah, because I couldn't. Because when I was
take care of
editing
Randy.
the slides, I couldn't quite remember what that was, and I realised that is Michael getting into the car.
Yep.
Because has he been listening?
Oh no,
And
he's standing right here, right? But he
Right.
was preparing the car.
So the kids are getting dropped off. Here you go. Fat Gandalf. Yeah, we used to have candy cigarettes back in the day as well.
I'm 35, and when I was a kid, I had candy cigarettes.
They were teaching us that smoking was good for you.
They used
Prep
to
the
have
kids.
ones with Superman on it, didn't they? Do you remember
Yeah.
they used to have ones with the Superman on it, and kids
That's
used to buy
fucking
it. They used to be
crazy.
candy cigarettes.
I remember Space 1999 sweet cigarettes as well.
Yeah, remember them.
This is where she's after the favor, and this is where because she's told this boy about Laurie, and she's gonna talk him. She's gonna talk her out of it tomorrow morning. Or have I missed a few scenes? Is that earlier on? I can't remember.
No, she wanted
Stay
to get her hooked up with that guy Mike Godfrey.
But she doesn't want to. She's just too shy, isn't
Right,
she?
she's too shy. Yeah.
I think Mike Godfrey would have been
Too
very
shy,
lucky,
shy.
but there you go. So the kids are watching TV. Quite difficult to see when everything's in the dark, isn't it?
Yeah, so this is her trying to open the car door, but it's locked.
You got the wrong.
Yeah, it's locked, isn't it? Yes.
What?
Because she's singing "Oh Paul,"
I
and
can
then
see somebody
she
walk towards the house.
she pulls on the handle and then goes "No keys," and then she's got to walk away and go get the keys.
I'm confused.
Pat Gandalf in the chats. At Mr. Brown, it's me. Grats on breaking 1K, by the way. Thank you. It's been a long journey, as it were. So thank you very much.
Oh, my picture just froze there. Weird.
So this is where she's walking for the keys.
I'm going to make the assumption that she thought the keys were in the car already.
Yeah. Because I think I've not got the slide, but she goes back to the car. She just, the thing opens, doesn't it?
Right.
The
Yeah. It was
handle.
locked.
And then
the
she
first time.
realizes something's
Like someone's been in there
wrong.
fogging up
Yeah.
the place with their creepy ass breath.
And this is where you don't see much what's going on, but you know exactly what's going on.
He tries to choke and then he cuts her with the knife. Doesn't he?
Yeah, he's choking the shit out of her and then decides just one clean swipe with his knife.
To the side of the neck or something, probably.
Yeah, I think it's the right side of the neck with his.
It will be, yes.
Yeah.
It looks weird though.
Well, and something that doesn't hold up super well is it. You know, the acting here when she dies it looks a little silly.
The facial expressions of the slides that I'd removed looked quite scary.
I think it was just like when she falls, like she closes her eyes and then opens them back
there
up.
you go.
Yeah. She like closed her eyes and then opened them back up as she slowly hit the steering wheel.
Okay, so across the street, watching TV. So now it's Forbidden Planet again, another great movie.
Who's the girl? The little girl?
Lindsay Wallace.
Oh, I thought it was Kim Richards because he used Kim Richards in.
Oh, I meant that's the character's name. Sorry, not sure of the actress.
So did he use the same actress then? That little girl is it Kim Richards? Because he used her in Salt and Precinct 13.
And that
Probably
was that was before this, right?
Yes,
like
it
a couple
was.
of years before. Yeah,
I think that was 1976.
Yeah, it's a couple of years.
Forbidden Planet, great movie.
Oh yeah, there's the guy in the airplane, Leslie Nielsen.
Frank Drebin.
Yeah, Frank
Police
Drebin.
Squad. Yeah. Todd is playing silly buggers behind the curtains.
Because that's what boys do.
And then while he's looking out the window, he sees Michael doing his naughty stuff, taking bodies indoors.
Tries to scare Lindsay and gets the shit scared out of him instead.
Yeah. So more Forbidden Planet.
We were just watching the thing just a minute ago.
I think it was
they
finished.
went next door. Yeah, she went next door, so he was probably just watching a different movie.
This is back at the Myers house, isn't it?
He's just anticipating Michael showing up at any point, so he's hanging out.
This is this where the policeman. Oh no, this is the kids, isn't it?
It's where he scares the kids.
Yeah.
Those were the asshole kids that were picking on Tommy earlier.
Yes.
That's right. Scares them.
And then he shouts at them very lamely, and they just fuck off, don't they?
Yeah.
Hey, Lonnie, get your ass away from there.
He's so proud of himself.
Yes, he is.
And then he turns round and the
policeman, big jump scare. He was in Colombo as well, actually. Interesting. 2 people from Colombo.
Is this where the policeman is just saying, just people just going around doing the normal Halloween stuff, and the Dot said, look, just keep your men on the feet on the ground and just watch what's going on. He's gonna do stuff.
Yeah, he's saying like something's gonna happen tonight, and the chief just goes, "More fancy talk."
Yeah, well, he's playing your typical chief that doesn't believe anything, isn't he?
Yeah.
Melvin Deeply, Forbidden Planet is a better movie than The Thing from Another World. I would agree with that. I wonder why Forbidden Planet's never been remade, or has it?
I don't think it's been remade. No.
Because that is a great movie. Swappers, are you a fan of Forbidden Planet?
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. In fact, I haven't seen it for ages, but I really do need to revisit it again because it's just an incredible movie. Still to this day, it holds up as well.
Isn't that based on I Have a Tempest Within Me?
Yeah, something like that. I can't remember the original story. Nothing to do with the ring pieces of power, thankfully.
Yeah. The true Tempest, isn't it?
Mm.
Here's Paul. Or no, this is not Paul. This is Linda's
Bob.
boyfriend, Bob. Right. Yeah. We don't see Paul. We don't meet Paul.
Yeah.
Now, you telling me that these guys look like teenagers?
Hey, if the dates
like
can
teenage.
confirm, if the dates confirm,
yeah. So they're going to do Nookie. Paul already.
There's a second pumpkin of the movie.
Yeah.
Not
there is
many
lots of looking at.
Halloween.
There is lots of just looking at this house.
There's a whole lot of voyeurism in this movie.
Yeah.
Stalkers.
I also feel like Paul was based on fucking Shaggy or something. The mystery mobile he's driving around.
There you go, folks. Romeo. Forbidden Planet. Rest in peace, Leslie Nielsen. Greatest Canadian comic actor of all time.
Aside from
Was
Trudeau.
Indeed.
Apart from Trudeau.
Yeah.
Bit of politics. Moving on.
She got ponytails, that girl.
Pigtails, yes.
Pigtails, that's it. Sorry, ponytails.
His massive specs are a plot element, aren't they, in this movie?
They do become a little bit of a plot element.
So they're doing a bit of Nookie.
Who leaves a lit pumpkin at the side of the bed? I thought they was like stick them outside.
They do.
Yeah, I guess they do. That's not an indoor activity, even in America.
It smells burning pumpkin.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah,
maybe it's aromatic. Maybe it's an aphrodisiac. I don't know.
Maybe it's
photography. It's the director of photography that wants it there, doesn't he? So
it could be a fake pumpkin.
Gives a reason,
like a plastic one.
Lit. Yeah, it could be.
Or it could be there to disguise the smell of proper smoking.
So you're going to say something else then?
Moving on. Her cigarette isn't lit. I think it was lit at the beginning, then it's gone out, and she's still smoking it.
Darn! It looks like it hasn't even been burnt.
I think it was just the when he lit them up with the lighter. I don't think it actually lit though.
Continuity.
Yeah.
Go get me a beer, Bob.
Yeah, is where Bob gets it.
This is just, there's so many iconic shots and scenes in this movie, and this is another one. Just
not that you can see them.
I think this gave everyone a phobia about dark kitchens, didn't it? This film.
I would say, and just the way he busts out at this angle here, I just love this shot.
Yeah, I always remember the feet when I was a kid.
Oh, hold on.
Yes.
So in the Terminator, they have a scene that's just like this scene, don't they? Which one was first, Terminator or this?
Oh, this was first by
This
a few
one, yeah.
years.
So Terminator copied this scene then.
Sure,
Do you
Terminator
remember the
was
scene in
84, right?
Terminator?
Yeah.
Which bit was that? I can't remember.
The bit where Linda Hamilton's character leaves, and then
Oh,
it's just the boyfriend and the
Yeah,
girl, and he goes
in the
into
house.
Oh,
the kitchen.
yes.
To get something.
Rick Rossovich.
Yeah, and the Terminator grabs him just like that
Mhm.
and does him in.
Good homage, though.
Weird.
Uninspired reviewer. I've always had a phobia of dark kitchens. We'll plow
I think we
through
all have
these.
nightmares about them, don't we? Like, I think we've all had anxiety dreams when we've sort of come home and it's dark at night and no one's in the house and it's silent and we try to go for the light switch and the lights don't work. We've all had that.
Yep. And this shot, it's so good. It's
Not
beautifully shot,
gory
the
at
colors.
all, but it's just like, wow, look at that. That's
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah.
In the chat, not Brian, he's posted a link to the Movie Cynics channel.
Thank you, now, Brian.
We firmly believe in helping the upcoming channels,
That's that.
as it were.
I've got a phobia of scary things. Melvin deeply in the chat.
It's the bit where he's struggling, then all of a sudden he just goes limp. He takes his arm away and he's just there hanging.
Yeah. Should have gone for Specsavers.
Put the knife for him.
That's shocking, that bit, isn't it? It's just what you don't see is the really nasty thing.
And this is where John Carpenter told Nick Castle, "You just turn your head like you're looking at a painting or something." Just admiring his own handiwork.
Nick Castle was
You
like,
can really
wow.
like project you can project anything onto this of like what he's doing,
Yeah.
because he's supposed to be, as described by Carpenter, is just like, just an animal. He doesn't really have any. There's like basic intelligence there of understanding how to do things and instinct, and this is, he's just like curious about what this thing is that he's seeing pinned to the wall now.
Melvin says, here you go, bear with me. The chat just moved up quickly. Here you go. How long must that knife be? It is very long.
It
Yes.
is a very long knife.
It is.
It's
And
actually piercing. It's actually piercing 2 boxes of cereal as well behind him.
And it's angled just so, like perfectly well balanced to keep him upright like that too. Because it looks like it's in the stomach.
Time Profits posted a link for something we should be having a look at. So obviously not now though. As a kid or as an old, do you appreciate this film more now as an adult or as a kid, if you know what I mean?
Through kids' eyes.
Yeah.
As an
Because I did love this film. I knew this film was very good when I was a kid, but I didn't kind of realize just the simplicity of it watching it today. But it's still so fucking good.
Yeah, I admire it for different reasons or more reasons because I think it still holds up. And I watched the Friday the 13th series first when I was a kid before I saw this.
Right.
And I don't know if this is the correct way of saying it, but this is almost like classy compared to that. Like with no gore or anything. It's all about the
Suggestion,
filmmaking
isn't it?
quality. Yeah.
Well, John Carpenter, he stepped up his game, didn't he? Because the directing and the lighting and everything was fantastic in this. And as I said, if you look at his other films that were low budget, just as low as this, obviously the photography isn't very good it's okay in Salt and Precinct 13. So he really upped his game because he realized this one had to look good and be good if he wanted to move forward in his career, Because let's face it, the films he made before didn't make much money. This was the one that put him on the map.
This next scene, I was when I was a kid, fucking, it frightened the shit out of me. This did.
Yep.
Because you just stood there. I even like Is it funny that he's just got Bob's
Glasses.
It is funny.
glasses?
Yeah,
Is
it
it?
is funny. Yeah, I did find it funny, but in a absolutely horrific way. It's bizarre,
Yeah, it's
isn't
just sick.
it?
It's
Mm.
just there. She's shouting at him, and he's just there.
I thought it was funny. I didn't think this bit was scary at all.
I think there was like a mix of humor and
Yeah.
terror in it, though.
It works really well, doesn't it? Because there's a fine line between both of them, and it kind of straddles that perfectly, where you don't quite know. It's kind of a relief in the horror and the suspense when you see this, but it's loaded with horror from behind it. You know it's coming.
Yeah.
Here you go, folks. Uninspired, he says, feels like a scene from Scooby Doo. It
Yeah.
does.
Yeah,
It does.
I think it's genius. It's absolutely genius. Sorry, go on.
I said even when he kills what's her name? It
Linda.
it didn't come across as horrific at all. It was just I think he meant this scene as a comedic scene. I don't know. It just doesn't come across as scary or anything. This scene to me, anyway. It's just me. I guess.
Including the kill, though?
Yeah, including the kill, because he just
Huh.
strangles the girl, doesn't he? And it's really weird because she just gurgles and goes down, and it's not horrific or anything. You don't see any blood. I thought this scene was played for laughs.
I didn't, because I thought it was really tense, because Laurie's listening on the other end, and he picks up the phone and brings it up to his mask. And I just remember when I was a kid, just like that shot was terrifying. So I don't know. That's interesting.
I actually mean the actual kill itself. Yeah, it was tense, and you knew what he was going to do.
Was it the phone cord?
Yeah, it's the phone
cord.
cord.
Yeah. I just mean the actual kill. I thought it was quite comical. I didn't think it was that bad.
Here you go, folks. As you know, I like saying this. Geralt of Trivia. He's just standing there menacingly.
It's almost like he likes to play with his well, I mean, that's kind of part of it, right? When he's doing his stalking throughout this, he likes to play with his prey before he
he's on the spectrum, isn't he?
He might be.
That's one way of putting it, Ian. Yeah. I've definitely figured out my next Halloween outfit, though, and it's this one, and it's not going to take long together.
All you need to do is white blanket.
Yep.
That's right.
Glasses.
And look for your old fellas or your mum's glasses.
Yeah, maybe splash a little bit of blood on it. Yeah. Perfect.
You don't even have to wear anything underneath.
Oh, you perv.
Fine.
Yeah, love, come and have a look at this.
Is that a request, Ian? For God's sake, man. Jeez.
This, as Ian said, yeah, maybe he did play it for laughs, but fucking hell, it's tense because you just know.
It just puts you off. It puts you off guard, doesn't it? Because you don't know how to feel almost.
Yeah.
Well, Ian, you said you saw this in theaters, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah. What was the audience reaction during this scene?
Well, it was packed, and now I saw it. So basically, I saw it in a flea pit cinema, and it was Saturday night when around where I live, it was mostly people of color or black people, so to speak, and it was jam packed with black people, and they were just talking through the movie and going, and saying things like "holy shit" and stuff like that. It was like a real community thing. It really was, and I enjoyed it. I wasn't really scared because of the jokes that people kept shouting. Because in the old days, that's the way you used to watch movies. People used to get in there, and they used to have beer as well. They sneak in beer, and half the audience was drunk, and they were all smoking cigarettes because there was smoke everywhere.
Oh, Jesus!
And also the quality of the film was really bad because it had crap all over it, and you know what I mean. So that's how I used to watch films in the 70s. So
almost adds to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It's quite funny. I remember somebody screamed "Frying Tonight" and the whole cinema erupted with laughter. I remember that. Yeah.
Here you go, Fat Gandalf. I saw it. See, this is the American. This is the true American experience. I saw it at a drive-in. Had all kinds of people screaming at the screen. That's proper, is that?
That's awesome.
That's
awesome.
Proper way of seeing a movie for sure.
Yeah.
While I was looking at this still, a question for the panel. If this film was remade today, would that be a black blanket?
No.
Well, Rob Zombie did remake it in 2007, but I would say even 15 years ago was a very different world than today.
Yeah, it is.
Probably be green. Green.
When I saw it, as I said, right, you just imagine it was the worst print ever. That's the first time I saw it, and then I saw it on VHS, and then and the rest is history. So,
I think this is the first time I've seen it in widescreen as well.
Really, this must have been awesome then, to go from whatever it is,
Yeah,
four-
as I said, the majority of the times I've seen this, it was VHS pan and scan. Wasn't it? Or scan and pan.
it'd never be allowed today, right? Because she's kind of half naked when she gets killed, and they'll never allow stuff
Yes,
like that.
you see
today.
nipple. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about that because I reviewed for my channel. I reviewed the movies X and Pearl, and there's a whole lot of nudity in that. It was really nice to be like, oh, okay, so not everything is pussified. And those just came out this year. Yeah, it was a nice throwback.
Here you go, Romeo. Michael's pronouns would be they, them, die.
See, so Dean Cundy loves in this film. He loves using blue and orange to complement.
Yeah, those are the colors
always.
I think of when I think of this movie. It's just black, blue, orange.
Okay, so this is where she's got out of bed to phone. Because she still thinks it's the boyfriend and she's just pissed off with him.
Because he didn't bring her beer.
Yeah.
And he didn't answer either.
Don't I get your ghost, Bob?
Movie, care to read a comment?
Sure. Dark Side of the Walk says pan and scan equals walk and shock.
Love it.
And this is where we get the music now, isn't it?
Yeah, the almost Jaws-esque dun dun dun.
Because this is going back to where I said earlier about this was the girl who was she thought it was a crank call because she was eating, and then she's making a phone call now.
After all these years, I had never noticed that foreshadowing until you guys pointed it out.
Call yourself a critic.
I know.
Our work has been done. Our work is done, folks.
Schooled me.
We are schooling the movie Cynic. This is where she's getting obviously strangled with the.
And that's when somebody screamed out, "Frying tonight!" And everybody started cheering in the cinema. Popcorn flew. Bears got drunk.
Are you eating again?
Yeah.
No. It does look like something out of Scooby-Doo, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He's still got his glasses on.
Yeah.
It falls off though, doesn't it? It falls off.
Yeah, she pulls the sheet off as she's falling.
Yeah.
It looks like one of the ghosts out of Pac-Man, but with glasses. I think she's dead, Jim.
Very, very clever that it reveals him this way.
Yeah, when the shot where like the sheet is being pulled off him looks so menacing.
Yeah,
and then he picks the phone up,
like his mask didn't fall off.
Things on there pretty good. It's cool how good that mask looks too, because nowadays what they'll do is actually take they'll mold it to the actor's face.
But what they did in the latest one, then they not add to it, didn't they? Made it look a bit more old. In the latest one.
And the thing is, as such a just a fan of the franchise and all of its flaws that come with it after this movie, they finally really did the original mask justice in the latest trilogy they've made. Otherwise, it's always kind of looked like shit. They used this exact same mask in Halloween 2, and it was already kind of like falling apart, but they still had the mask at least. So in Halloween 2, it is this literal same mask because they only had the one. Then every preceding movie kind of looked like shit right up until the 2018 one.
What about Halloween 3?
Halloween 3. I just, I always skip that one. And I
Yes,
watched
so
it
do
for the
I.
first time like a week or two ago. And so I've gone through the emotions with that movie because I never watched it because I was like, oh, it's not Michael Myers. I don't give a shit. And then over time, people have been like, no, it's actually like a really good horror movie. Like, don't worry about it not being Michael Myers. That it's called Halloween. Just watch it. And I watched it a couple of weeks ago. And I was like, what the fuck is this movie? Like,
So
this is the weirdest movie. It's not good. What are you guys talking about?
So it's still
Yeah, I
is
know.
shit.
Yeah.
Fat Gandalf at Mr. Brown Alliance. Can you ask the movie Cynic why they chose William Shatner's face?
They did not specifically choose his face.
No.
They just it was just a mask that they picked up out of a store. They just bought it at the store. And just were like, oh, what can we do with this thing? They combed the hair back, cut the eye holes a little bigger, and sprayed it white instead of the shitty skin tone they had on the mask. And they really liked it just because of the fact that you could look at that and kind of project anything onto it. And so that made it terrifying to them. And they were originally going to go with a clown mask that they had picked out. And could anyone imagine Michael Myers being iconic with a clown mask today?
No.
It's really hard to think, like maybe, but man, am I glad they went with that mask.
I think the guy was saying it was when they cut the eyes out, they realized that's what that looked creepy. And when, then they painted it white, and that was that. So, I don't know.
Here you go, folks. Time Profit. Ironically, Shatner's case could have been easily dismissed. The mask was actually a likeness of Captain Kirk, to which Shatner does not own the rights.
Yeah, but it's still his face, though. That's why he kind of fell out of court.
I mean, I knew Star Trek when I was a kid, and I didn't know that was a Shatner mask until I was older and started learning about the movie.
I think the person who selected that mask that day earned their money.
I think so. Earned all like $100 they probably earned because this movie had such a low budget.
Yeah. That was like whoever that was, top of their game that day. Yeah. You would not be able to follow that.
We appreciate you, sir, whoever you are.
Or miss.
Whoever you were.
Okay, so what's going on now? Remind me.
So she's going to go check on the kids real quick.
Before she goes across the street, that's it.
Yeah.
What'd she say to him? Sleep tight or something like that? I can't remember. This is back at the Myers house, isn't it? Because Loomis is still waiting.
The geography is kind of funny to me because it's like, okay, so that car's been parked behind you this entire time, and also
he's just
that means
noticed it,
right, and or did Michael move it? Because that would mean that Annie's house, where she was babysitting, is right next to the fucking Myers house, right? Yeah. It's like 3 houses down.
So she's going across the street to see what's happening.
This is where it's really starting to build tension. The music builds tension throughout the whole movie. But John Carpenter said that he showed it, to the studio before applying the music, and they were like, "This movie sucks."
I can imagine, yeah.
And then he showed them after he applied the music, and they were like, like we are. He's like, "Wow, this movie's fantastic."
Yeah, the music is the star of this film.
And it's so simple. It's the classic Halloween theme that everyone knows. It's just a little ditty that he learned when he was a little kid.
5/4 time as well.
Yep.
So it makes it sound like it just continually loops, but you never get tired of hearing it because it's continually evolving.
Yep.
The wonders of 5/4 time.
This goes to prove producers don't know fuck.
I wonder could you reproduce the Halloween theme in 4/4? Wouldn't work.
I don't think so.
I think many years ago when I was learning music, I tried it and it just it just you couldn't figure out the actual 4:4 time for it.
Sorry, my dog's barking.
Are the Terminators approaching?
That's right.
Oh shit, it might be. I gotta go check on Wolfie.
Wolfie, how's Wolfie?
Your foster parents are dead.
Here we go then. This is where it starts to happen now, isn't it?
Yeah, it takes all that time rearranging everybody in the house.
I will say Time Prophet, I use Ableton. But moving on.
Why hasn't she switched the light on? would be better, wouldn't it?
That would
Switch
ruin the
light on,
tension.
I guess. Where's that
Is
fucking
the
torch?
the dead body will be in there? Is that correct?
He moved it. No, remember, he moved it.
Yeah,
Yeah, she does find it.
because like, is she going to open it? But she doesn't, does she?
But what makes me laugh is that Michael Myers took some
Going
time out
upstairs.
to arrange all this stuff, didn't he? Took some time out.
I mean, he definitely gets more and more elaborate as the series goes on.
And gory. So she goes to the room where the girl was who got choked with the phone.
Oh, so that's where the headstone went.
That's nicely staged, isn't it?
Well done, Mikey.
Mm.
Very
When do we hit the
theatrical.
headstone?
That's the headstone from the cemetery, isn't it? That he
Yeah.
took.
Yeah,
That he
his
stole,
sister's
yeah.
headstone.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. Right, we're on the homeward leg now, folks.
Oh my God.
And this is when the music starts getting ramped up, isn't it?
And here comes old Bob.
Yeah. So
It's the
yeah.
swinging. And this, the door just happens to open. There's
To
no
open
rhyme
up,
or reason.
yes.
Yeah, it just swings open.
Classic.
Do you want some trivia? I think we do.
Go on.
Melvin, the actress who played John Connor's foster mother in T2 was actually Jeanette Goldstein, who played Vasquez in Aliens.
It
Yep.
was indeed. She also
Yes, it
played a
was.
character in Lethal Weapon 2.
Does she say, "Have you ever been mistaken for a man"?
No,
No,
yeah.
I
Someone asks Vasquez, "Have you ever been mistaken for a man?" She goes, "No, have you?"
Mm.
That was Hicks, wasn't it?
Yeah. This is
Maybe
awesome.
we should do. If,
Fine. You always
Al-
were an asshole, Gorman.
Yeah.
Aliens
Vasquez,
is
you're
such a
just too
good film.
bad.
Yeah.
Sir, what is it? What is it, Hudson? Oh no, he actually says, "What is it, Hicks?" I'm Hudson. He's Hicks, sir. What is it? How do I get
How
out
to
of
get
this
off this chicken
out?
shit outfit?
I think if we ever cover Aliens, that would be a 6-hour stream.
Oh hell yeah!
Man, I'll be all over
How
that.
that scene ends, he
I'll
goes,
be here for that
"Hudson."
one.
He goes, "Hudson, come here, come here." That's how
Fucking
the
love
scene
that. Hudson, come here, come here.
ends. It's hilarious.
Great. Yo, man, I just need to know one thing.
I will say to the guys in the chat, film next week. Give us some suggestions, and we'll kind of come up with 3, and I'll throw a poll on the community page for next week. So, chat. That's your homework between now and the end of the stream. Which film would you like us to do
I
or
don't know.
discuss?
I'll give you a clue. It's, "Sir, this floor is really cold, sir." You want me to get these slippers for you, Hudson? Look into my eye.
Look into my eye.
Brilliant. Oh, dear.
Here you go. Dark Star.
Great film.
Yeah, John Carpenter.
I
It's Anna
can't
Banyan.
remember it. I don't
It's
know.
Anna
I
Banyan.
know what it is, but I don't think Have I seen it? I don't know.
I bet you have.
I probably have, but I can't. I must have been so young.
Yeah, probably.
Beach ball as an alien.
Yeah.
The
Okay,
bomb, the
right.
whole bombs. Oh, the bomb thing was so funny.
Here you go, Melvin. Star Trek 6. That is a great film.
Undiscovered country.
All these crying scenes are very iconic.
Mm.
It's very good acting by Curtis, isn't it?
This
Yeah.
shot here is amazing. So Dean Cundy said what he was doing here was like, if you see the light right here on the right side of the camera, he was using it and panned it up slowly to reveal Michael's face.
Mm.
And I just thought that was simplistic brilliance.
Again, a lot of people don't realize how hard it is to actually light something like that, especially when you're shooting on film. You can't fuck around when you're on film. You have to get it right.
Right.
Otherwise, if it's underexposed or overexposed, you're fucked. You have to shoot it again. And they didn't have enough money to shoot this again. So it just goes to prove how good he is. Do you know what I mean?
One take wonders.
Mm.
She gets
The knife.
arm with a knife, and then she goes over the banister and then woof, down. Right, okay, so
First
we're
bit
on
of
the
blood you
home.
see.
Yeah. So she's down the stairs. And again, as I said, the music is the star of this film.
Absolutely.
I mean, that would.
I think that's what separates Halloween from so many other slasher movies. That I mean, like it is the inspiration for the majority of them anyway, just by the sheer fact that it was really the first and set all of the what would end up being tropes. But I mean, what other franchise has such an iconic everything? Character. As far as villain and a protagonist too, like Laurie's iconic, and the music, it's all there. It has it has everything you need, every ingredient you need to make just a fantastic, culturally impactful movie.
Thing is, though,
and it's a big fucking knife as well.
That's a big motherfucking knife.
They should have left it alone. Seriously, after 2, just leave it alone, because all the ones that's come after it's just been. They've all been rubbish as far as I'm concerned.
Do you think though that like this kind of with so many movies like that, I don't know, like with this franchise, it doesn't sully how brilliant the first one is. You can still just watch the first one. Yeah,
but you can't tell the same story all the time. That's the problem.
And I actually think that's what went wrong with the new movie. Is they tried to not tell the same story, and then it was shit.
Yeah,
the wrong fucking story.
The new one was properly shit, and it was just
dog shit.
Whoever.
When Michael gets beat up by a fucking nerd, there's something wrong with your movie.
I will say, Jamie Lee Curtis, you fucked up on that new one. Not happy. Okay, so
another iconic shot.
The stairs. Yeah. Lots more crying. In the chat, Romeo, here you go. Aliens or Conan the Barbarian? I've not seen both for a very long time. Tim says, what about a comedy? There you go. How would we review that? Monty Python's Life of Brian. I want to be called Loretta. You'd probably get demonetized just discussing that scene now, wouldn't you?
Might do, yeah. I'd be up for watching all of these.
Explains a lot, though, doesn't it? Explains a lot.
Yeah. I think we'll put Aliens on the list for next week. Yeah.
Oh,
we'll come up with a couple. We'll put Aliens as definitely one on the list, folks. So I'll sort a poll out as soon as we've finished here. So
special edition.
I know. Here you go. I'll start again. At Mr. Brown Alliance from the Time Prophet. What's your favourite colour? Guess. Probably green, actually, but never mind. Right, so we're on the homeward straight now. Again, very iconic scene with the locked door, and he's putting the knife through it, isn't he?
I can hear the sound effects they used for that punching through that door right now. I just let it, that even the sound effects always stuck in my head.
And you see the hand. It's just the kind of the way the hand is coming through the door and moving at really, really high speed as he's trying to grab the handle. Franco says Top Secret. That is a great film.
Yeah, I've not seen that one since I was little.
Have you seen that one movie? Top Secret?
I haven't seen that one.
You've not seen it? Oh my God.
I have not, no.
He's
I
too
think
young.
you should.
Bit of blood, bit of blood.
She's breaking the
can-
window, trying to get out.
Yeah, you could see right before she breaks it too that it was wasn't actually glass. Like it's different than all the other frames. It was, yeah.
Here you go, folks. In the chats, Franco says, Mr. Brown answers me. I watched Blade Runner the other month and you never reviewed it.
Yeah, I know. Blame that on Brown.
Oof.
Nobody wants to come on the stream to review it. That's the problem. I genuinely think we're all burnt out with Blade Runner.
No, I did.
Well,
I wanted to come on and do it.
Okay, I will try and reach out to some people who would want to review it then.
Get the commander on.
Oh yeah, we could do. We've not.
He hasn't been on in ages.
Shall we get the sex bots on? They've turned up.
What's up, sex bots?
Girls S4X, you're late.
Okay.
I hope
Where have they been the whole time? God.
I hope my lovely mods will sort them out.
Looks like it.
Okay, so this is it. She broke the window. She got out. Door open. We'll crash through these.
Just like she did with that window.
Yeah.
All these assholes. This is very American. Everyone's ignoring her.
Yeah, I remember seeing that, thinking like, what the hell is wrong with these people? What you don't see is inside the houses, they're all laying in bed with a massive knife.
Pretending.
She's looking out the window, sees someone in actual terror, not in a Halloween costume, clearly not like pulling a prank. And they're like, okay, I'm going to shut this light off. Fuck you.
Well, she's got blood on her arm, so they might think that's, might think that's
Yeah,
false.
I like how they turn the light on, have a look out the window, then there's fuck this.
Fuck you.
Not very neighbourly.
Are you enjoyed the bell bottoms?
Hell yeah. Look
They're
how
great.
high
Bell
they go
bottom
up.
flares.
Oh, that should make a comeback. They look quite good.
They're great.
I think
Absolutely great.
boot cut jeans are fantastic. Don't see them all that much nowadays.
Nope.
I remember this scene too when I was a kid, just being tense as hell.
It still is. And I'm 50 something or other. Because Laurie wants to get into the house and she's waking up. She's shouting at Todd because they're asleep, aren't they? Very impressive flares. Yeah, they go. You go secret comedy flares. Is he asking? Is it the boogeyman?
Is this a J.J.
Yep.
Abrams film? She's wearing flares.
Yeah, lens flares, gene flares. You would think that cut would bleed a little more.
I think there's more
Bleed
blood on her
more.
hand than on the on that massive cut from that knife.
Yeah. Is this where she's grabbed a knitting needle or something, or a skewer?
Knitting needle.
Oh yeah, because she knits, doesn't she? Did you see? Yeah, well, on
Yep.
some of the shots, they're doing a fucking knitting. Can you believe it?
Really big in the 70s knitting.
Now that would suck.
Stabbing it.
What, knitting?
Getting stabbed in the
Well, yeah. That.
There you go. Soldier,
Right.
Kurt Russell.
Mm.
Cue iconic sofa.
That's hideous.
Her bottom's not though. That's quite nice.
She,
It's strange to think this film came
she
out when
stabbed him,
Star
hasn't
Wars
she?
came
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's strange to think that.
Have I missed the scene where
Same year Star Wars came.
she stabs him in the side of the head, doesn't she?
No, she stabbed him right in the neck.
Yeah, and he goes
With a
down.
needle, yeah.
Yeah. He just collapses.
So she thinks that she is dead, and he's there on the floor. You can just about make that out. And then I assume she just kind of collapses. Meanwhile, back on the street,
Late as usual.
yeah, because you
Bloody
can hear
late.
you can hear the kerfuffle.
Just in time for a lay bracket to show back up.
Yeah. I think you said something about this, didn't you? Movie. She throws away the knife all the time and drops it as well.
Oh yeah, it's like that almost became a trope in slasher movies in general. Just
Yeah.
like, okay, I did the one thing. I'm just gonna not make sure the killer is dead.
Well, to be fair, she did stick him with a needle in his neck. You'd assume that
I
he's
mean,
dead.
yeah, and I'm sure, like, you know, back then too, the audience thought that he would be dead
Yeah,
because
dead
you
as
hadn't
well,
seen
yeah.
a supernatural killer yet. You know, the unstoppable slasher yet. This was
Yeah,
the first.
and Laurie hadn't seen the sequels either, so you know.
Right. She was not privy to this info.
So she's waking up the kids.
Run!
Franco says, "Finish the job, you daft cow."
Oh shit.
There he is again.
And if she hadn't dropped the knife, now he has it back.
Yeah. Yeah, this wardrobe scene. Oh my god.
Again, like this shot, another just, you know, always stuck in my head. Just a beautiful shot of Michael with the flare in the hair a little bit when he's walking up.
You say Halloween to me, this is the moment I think of every single time.
Yeah.
You can't see much. But then,
So in the Blu-ray version, could you see
this bit
more?
here.
Because I remember watching it in the cinema and you couldn't really see. Well, then again, it was a crappy copy, I guess.
If you watch it on
widescreen
streaming,
is spot on.
yeah, it is a stunning looking movie still. It's one of the best looking movies I've ever seen, in my opinion. I think it's beautiful.
Andy Mouse in the chat. Hello, Andy. Congrats at 1,008. Do you know, I shat myself then. Because that means I would have lost Obviously, you take nothing for granted on YouTube, don't you, Movie Cynic?
No, I like once you start getting up to a certain number, you just start, people unsubscribe, and then you'll get, 4 people unsubscribe in 1 minute, and 10 more will
Yeah.
subscribe in the next, and it's just whatever.
Andy says 1008, then the beautiful Tim Hannabon corrects him 1080.
1080.
Thank God.
1080p.
Yeah. Easy.
there goes Wolfie again.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, thank you. This scene.
It's so claustrophobic, isn't it? There's
You
no
don't
escape.
Yeah, you don't really see much, but when the light bulb comes on, it's like, fuck.
Mm.
Another iconic shot.
I will say, guys, if you've not heard of Top Secret, after it stars Val Kilmer.
Leslie Nielsen?
No.
It's got a cow with willies on.
It's one of the. I personally think it's the same producers as Airplane and The Naked Gun. Naked Gun. I genuinely think it's probably their best film. I think Top Secret is fantastic. So after the film, after the review, guys, if you've not seen Top Secrets, Google it, get it watched. It's fantastic. Meanwhile, back to the presentation.
Stabby.
I will say, Fat Gandalf, cheers for popping in, mate. Appreciate the interaction. Okay, so
now he drops the knife. His turn.
because he dropped it because she stuck the coat hanger in him. Is that correct?
Yeah, right in the old left eye, and you'll see it. Yeah, you'll see it in a minute too. And they've kept that throughout all the sequels, which I liked. Like it doesn't have that one.
There you go. Peter Cushing was in Top Secret. He was. Right, we're getting to the end now, folks.
Oh, she gave him a big old heave right to the chest too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he's on the floor. He's on the floor underneath the door. So she comes out. Yeah, here you go. Melvin Deeply. Yeah, Omar Sharif was in it as well, yeah. What's she saying to the kids now?
You got to go down the street to the Beckers.
Right.
Call the police.
Call the police.
Oh, the Mackenzies, I think, actually.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, Eddie Murphy style. Oh, yeah, this bit here. Right. See him in the background.
Another classic shot.
Yeah.
Just him rising up like that. So good. And like a robot in the way he turns his head.
Didn't Data do that in Star Trek Next Generation as well?
Yeah, probably.
I will say hello, Joshua. Right, so we're definitely getting towards the end now.
God, he took his time, and he getting there. What the hell?
Yeah. So Loomis approaches, secret of comedy, timing right at the end.
Perfect timing there.
Yeah. She thinks he's dead, and she's just is she just there, just kind of frozen with relief? I don't know.
And the music is just, the tension's rising right now.
Yeah.
Of course.
And then he's just there. Because she just moves just at the moment as he's about to do the do.
Yeah, he does a lunge at her there.
Yeah. So she grabs. Well, they're struggling, and does she rip his mask off?
Yeah,
So
she rips his mask off, and this is where you'll see that another actor played him. So Nick Castle played the Shape throughout the entirety of the movie, really, except for here and there. And this is an actor they hired for this specific shot. And you can see his eyes all fucked up.
In the chat, Joshua Levesque, hello mate, at Mr. Brown Alliance, that's me. Hey mate, any news of when you'll be allowed super chats? No, I don't even know if I'm going to get monetized. It's in
Still,
the
that's
lap.
nice of him to ask.
It's in the lap of the gods, my friend. We will see. It's in the lap of the gods.
Nice of him to ask.
This is when Loomis appears, isn't it?
Yep.
So he's all he wants to do is put his mask back on.
Just needs that mask.
Yeah. I will throw this out to the chat, guys, who's still there. Marks out of 10 for Halloween. And then we'll do some marks from the panel.
Another iconic shot. There's just so many in this movie.
Yeah.
It's because it's an iconic movie.
Yep, just everything about it.
Boom.
And then he puts 6 bullets into him. Goes out the window.
Shot him 6 times.
Yeah. He's on the grass. Let's do some marks while they're there. Time profit, 10 out of 10. Uninspired, a solid 8 out of 10. Mr. Hannabom, 8.5. Franco, 9. Some pretty high marks. I will say, any lurkers in the chat, go on, put some marks down, so we know, so we can see you. What did she say to him? Was that the boogeyman?
Yeah, was that the boogeyman? And then he gives, well, like I've been saying, more iconic stuff when he says, as a matter of fact, it was.
Yeah. Romeo, yeah, 8 out of 10. Yeah, horror's not my thing, mate, but I recognise a fantastic film. Hem Night Shaman. Hello, mate. Do you want to give us a mark out of 10? I think you should. Melvin, 8.5. Right, we're definitely on the final leg now, folks. That was the boogeyman. And then we have these shots of just the locations. With the shots with the locations, you can hear him breathing.
Yep. And John Carpenter said that, that came together at the end when they were editing it together. And you can tell too, because like when they do the shot of the living room, the knife is still there.
Yeah.
Which of course wouldn't be there now. But he wanted to show that Michael, he is the essence of evil. He is the Shape. So he could be anywhere, just like evil can be anywhere. I really love that. Like, what a great way to end it.
Ego, M. Night Shaman in the chat. He hasn't seen it. Do we think he should watch this film?
Yes,
I think he should.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Definitely.
And do your homework, my friend, and put a mark out of 10 in the chats afterwards. Just be interesting to see somebody who hasn't seen it, what they think of it. So, yeah, definitely watch it. It is an iconic piece of cinema. So this is where we get the shots of the various locations then, isn't it?
Yeah, see, there's the knife there in that shot.
That is the iconic sofa scene, isn't it?
Yep.
With the lighting as well.
Yep. More Dean Cundy's specialties. Just brilliant, brilliant stuff.
That knife shouldn't be there then.
No, it should not. But like I said, Carpenter said it came together in the editing room at the end, so they couldn't
they-
go back and do pickup shots or anything.
Did they not in the Blu-ray version? Did they not go back and digitally remove it?
They did not. That's in
Obviously
every
not.
single one. Like I have it on. I've owned it in every format, but now I own it digitally, so in 4K, and it's still there. They haven't gone back and corrected anything, which is I actually appreciate that. I don't want anyone George Lucasing, my favorite movies.
Yeah. Good on you.
Right, guys, we are almost at the end. So, do you want to give us just a sentence, paragraph about the film? Ian, do you want to go first?
Sentence about the film. Film is good. It's good. It's iconic, and it works very well. And marks out of 10, I'd probably give it a 8, I guess.
You've gone a bit quiet. Have you got something over the mic?
No, I haven't. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. So you said 8 out of 10, did you say?
8 out of 10, I'd give it.
Okay. Swappers?
Oh, yeah, I'd say about an 8.5, 8.5, just for the initial utter fear it instilled in me when I originally saw it. It's just such a beautifully simplistic film, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so simple. Yeah.
Looks great as well.
So sparse, and the plot and the story and everything, they're just it's uncomplicated. There's not much to it at all. And what is there is just perfectly effective. There's no fat on it whatsoever. It's perfectly concise, and it was a genre maker, this movie. And for that alone, I think it's just amazing. It will go down in the history of humanity as being an absolute gem of cinematic genius.
Did you give us a mark out of 10?
I did, yeah. 8.5.
Yeah. The other maths.
Just absolutely 10 out of 10. I think it's, even though, I was having fun pointing out a few mistakes here and there, but that nothing has to be perfect to get a 10 out of 10, in my opinion. I think it's
agreed.
Perfection's a ridiculous thing, but all things considered, just what Swapshop was saying, like I can just kind of echo you, but give it an extra boost of just what it's done for me and my appreciation of cinema. And it's just it's an iconic piece of work, no matter how you slice it. It didn't just kickstart a genre; it created an absolute icon of cinema.
Benchmark, isn't it?
Yeah, an absolute benchmark. It really is. Like, I think it's something where we take it for granted. When like something like The Matrix, when it came out, that was just revolutionary, and now we take it for granted because so many things have emulated it. But when I think about those kind of movies, I try and put it in perspective of what was before them and what's been after, and nothing's been the same since Halloween. And I'll cherish this movie forever.
So one of your 10 out of 10 movies.
10 out of 10.
Okay. I will say I do love this movie. I'm not into horror. As I said, I went out of my way to watch the recent ones because Michael Myers, you just want to see what Michael Myers does.
Yep.
Looking at it today in widescreen and the Blu-ray for the first time, fucking shit hot, absolutely shit hot. Just brilliant. So many happy memories or scary memories from the old VHS days when I was a teenager. Can I give it a 10? I'm going to give it 9.5. We don't do halves, but I'm going to make the exception. I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. It's properly solid. So
yeah,
it is a fantastic film. I think that is it. As I said, guys, we've not done the movie reviews for a while, so a little bit out of practice. So if it was a little creaky at times, I do apologize. We'll only get better and better once we get back into it. I will thank the chat. As I say, guys, we are genuinely nothing without you guys. Always appreciate the interaction. Always great to see my moderators, the same faces and some new faces. Let's just hope it's going to get better and better as we go along. So I will say stay safe on Monday, especially if Michael's on the prowl. we will be back tomorrow doing the news stuff. So we will hopefully see you then. I will thank the guests in the order of my screen. Swappity Swapshop. Cheers, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
Great to have you on, mate.
Thank you. Thanks to the chat. Thanks to all the other panelists as well. It's always fun. Thanks very much for the invite.
Somewhere on the south coast, the Mega Geek. Cheers, Ian.
No worries, guys. No worries.
You can go to bed now, mate.
Good.
And last but by no means least, I don't think it would have been the same without this guy. It's one of his favourite films. The movie Cynic. Cheers, my friend.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure, mate. Great to have you on. I think that is it, guys. 2 hours 40. I'll consider that a result, considering the amount of slides. Look out for us tomorrow. We'll be around same time, 10:30. Don't forget the clocks. If you're in the UK, the clocks have gone back now, folks. Or have they? Are they going back at 2 o'clock? I think they're going back in about 45 minutes. So you'll get an extra hour in bed. I think that is it. We will see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody.
Later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. 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 Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.